What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing out there, man? Thought I'd go live a little bit. Thought I'd go live a little bit and see what everybody's been up to a little bit. I know just had a Super Bowl weekend, and a couple people out there, had some stuff to say about the numbers with the Super Bowl. I know Dan Raphael, who probably should have played on Cincinnati's offensive line, has some stuff to say about the Super Bowl when it comes to how many people, was at the. What's going on, Mo? What's happening? How many people was at the Super Bowl versus how many people was at the Canelo versus Billy Joe Sanders fight? And there's no comparison. He tried to make a comparison to it, but at the end of the day, one commercial costing people $20 million. Tyrone was happening. One commercial was costing people $20 million just for a minute, a couple seconds. So it's pretty much you can't compare it. They did have a thing for the stadium to where they was going to bump it up to 100,000, but then they decided to keep it at 70,000. The reason why they kept it at 70,000 because they would add the 30,000 more seats. People wouldn't be able to see. And people way up in the nosebleeds probably couldn't see anyway. So, that's another thing too. So, let's go into this Deontay Wilder thing. If anybody want to come on, y'all know I always put the link out there. But let's go into this Deontay Wilder thing. Because I saw a lot of people are talking about this thing, but people fail to realize what about everybody else that use coping mechanisms to deal with their problems or whatever. So in the article, it says Deontay Wilder may take a psychedelic potion to help decide whether to retire from boxing. And then there we go, Deontay Wilder article, and they showing fucking Anthony Joshua's face. It says Deontay Wilder has revealed that It says Deontay Wilder has revealed that he is considering taking a psychedelic potion to help him make his decision on whether or not to retire from boxing. The Bronze Bomber is weighing up doing, I don't know what it says, South American brew in order to go on a spiritual journey to determine if he will return to the ring. It says, I'm thinking about doing ayahuasca, something like that. He said, that's going to be my decision-making process. Boxing put a bad taste because of what was done to me. It's dangerous. Politics, cheating. I still have love for the sport, though. Oh, thanks, Mo, for telling everybody to smash the like button. Thank you. You know what? At the end of the day, people can't really, people are bashing Deontay Wilder saying, well, if you got to do this, you should already retire. Blah, blah, blah. But you could go down a list of boxers from back in the days that uses drugs as coping mechanisms for their own problems or whatever the case they be. They was battling. I remember Sugar Ray Leonard was on cocaine, for a minute. He was hooked on that by way of pain medication that he was taking. Tyson Fury thought it was okay to become an alcoholic and do cocaine because he failed a PED test. So how he coped with his failed PED test, he got on cocaine and alcohol, and that's how he went through his problems and end up by way of doing drugs and alcohol, end up coming up with depression. He didn't have it before. But anyways, Deontay Wilder always says that he's a spiritual person. Ain't nothing wrong with being spiritual. The only thing I can see about being a spiritual person is who you getting your information from and who you learning it from and stuff like that. Anything in life, But if somebody wants to take a spiritual journey to, deal with their LFL player, what's happening, deal with their personal problems in their life, or to come up with a decision, let them do their thing. There's worse things than the psychedelic you can do out there. Could be smoking wet, all kinds of things. So doing this stuff I don't think is that bad. There's other things out there that people be doing that they ain't got no motherfucking business doing. Hell, people get into car accidents, um, people going to jail for beating people in their family, uh, all kinds of things. So for somebody to do this stuff and they ain't hurt nobody, yeah, go ahead and do it. But there could be something wrong with it, with ramifications with these boxing organizations, these piss test companies, because I don't know if that's on the approved or banned list or nothing like that. But you know, it just sucks. I want to see the guy in the ring. I think Deontay Wilder adds he spices up the heavyweight division, whether or not he's in the ring or not. Every time he opens his mouth, people got good and bad things to say, including with this psychedelic stuff that he wants to do. A lot of people think that he should just pack it in because he is he has to use psychedelics for his decision process. He's still bringing up the allegations, but at this point, I don't think there's anything he can do about these allegations besides talk about it and stuff. I don't think there's anything else he can do about it. I think there should be more. You gotta give the, if you're gonna keep bringing this stuff up with this cheating of the gloves and how you was done wrong and stuff like that, man, and not be too and not talk about it and what was done wrong with you, other than the things that you already said. I think at the end of the day, why even bring it up? Did it look kind of fishy? Yeah, but if you're not gonna have some reaction to it, I mean, I don't know if the psychedelic. It could be licking the frog. It could be some potion they got in South America. It could be something. So no, they got them toads out there in South America. You lick them bad boys, you're going on a little trip. So they got mushrooms down there too. So I don't know what it is, but it's some fancy word for you're gonna be high as a motherfucker. That's how I take it. I don't see anything wrong with it. That man want to get high to make his decision, go right ahead, but don't wait too long, brother. Because this is what I wrote. This Michael Montero wrote, or you could see professional sports psychiatrist, because he had something to say about it. See, a sports psychiatrist always ain't gonna say nothing that you do, psychiatrist wise, is not gonna fucking save your ass. You know what I'm saying? Because not even them have the answers. And that's the reason why I said, wait a minute. Did y'all say the same thing when it came to Fury used alcohol and cocaine to get through his PED troubles? What about when AJ had to go see a Navy SEAL psychiatrist for a fight with Andrew Ruiz that he ended up getting his ass whooped in? You know what I'm saying? There's all these other boxers that use coping mechanisms to get past their problems. A lot of people, they don't want to use the same energy when it comes to a lot of these things. There was something else I saw in here that was pretty interesting too. I don't know which side it is on. Is it on this one? Let me see if this is the right Stormy B, man. Oh yeah, okay, cool. It's the right Stormy B, man. What's happening? There was something else I saw in here that was pretty interesting too. Stormy, can you hear me?
Yeah, give me 1 second, man. I got too much audio overlay here. 1 second.
Oh yeah, thanks for stopping by, my brother. Long time no see.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on. Let me correct something.
Okay. Let that man do what he do, man. You ain't got nothing wrong with nobody smoking no weed. You ain't got nothing wrong with nobody doing cocaine. Y'all still love that dude. Yeah, and people damn for sure ain't got nothing to do with this Daniel King. I thought this video was funny. This dude, look at this dude. Bam! Toe his ass up. Y'all see that shit? He just dove right into the car. Didn't even look at this shit, Stormy. Can you see it? Blam! Toe his ass up. This
goodness.
There was something else that I thought. Here it is. the Shakari Richardson joint, right?
Yeah.
So they have this Camilla, whatever her last name is, I can't pronounce that shit, but she got caught with PEDs in her system, and they letting her go ahead and do her whole run in the Olympics. And Shakari Richardson does some coke, does some weed uh, after her mother died. You know, that's how she probably had a little fuck it in her that day, and she went and did some weed, and they suspended her. And a lot of people had something to say about that, which I was behind her 100%. Didn't give a fuck about no damn weed. Not a performance enhancing drug. They just don't want you to take it. My whole thing with that was now that they letting this girl compete, was that if it was good for her, it should be good for everybody else. And I think Team USA, even at the time, should have got behind her because now you have somebody out there with PEDs in a system, which obviously they taking the PEDs because they need a little help during their runs. And now she's being able to compete because you guys didn't stick up for your own person when they had a trouble. Now you got somebody out there that got to compete against you in the Olympics, and competing with these Russians in the Olympics ain't no joke. It ain't no joke when it comes to this ice skating. So I don't know, man. I just think it's what's good for me should be good for everybody else. That's how I put it. That's how I put it.
Well, when they set the table, there was never a seat for you at the table. Okay.
Right.
So when you're operating under those auspices, that's where you get the whole approach of what's fair, what's unfair, what's just, what's unjust. People have to realize and take in an account, just as much as we have a problem with prejudice in our society as a whole, we have the whole thing about denial. For everyone that wants to be oppressive and live under the advantages that oppression gives them, you have people who are in denial of the oppression and will fight that as much as people who are fighting against the oppression. It's ridiculous. It's almost like three battles going on. And you can't get to a resolution because the ones that are in denial are causing more problems than the oppressor themselves. Did you not hear the Joe Rogan story recently and all of this? It's like it's really something. And until people start to really acknowledge what's before them, this will just go on. And it'll be a frustration, a line of frustration. People getting upset, people warring, people want to get withdrawn, people being depressed. It's so many variables that come outside of this. Do you not agree with that, Mike?
I agree with you.
And it's like, and it's an illness almost. Really. It's
I
an
don't.
illness.
I don't.
Do you know how, like, okay, you remember the actor from the TV series Kung Fu and many other shows,
Yes.
David Carradine. Do you remember what they said he died from?
Didn't he hang? I thought they said he hung himself.
Yeah, he was in some type of contraption that people put themselves in to give them some kind of S&M bondage type sensation.
Euphoria.
Yeah. But it's weird. And even if it was done to him and he was left for dead or whatever, the mere fact that you have people who will venture over into that aspect of life to the degree that it could kill them, but they're okay with it. Something's wrong with you, bro.
Mm.
And it's just an easier way than a saying that a buddy of mine from many years ago used to have. He said, some people can't get through life without their nuts in a vice. Yeah. And then, and my buddy that said that, I wish he was still living because we were about 30 years old each when he he and I, he departed. But it's like he used to say these things. And to hear of David Carradine dying like he did, it went right along with that quote he had. And there are people who live their lives like that every day. And they can't get through something without there being some kind of torture at the end or get some kind of thrill. It's like a person that's just got to go bungee jumping. Why
Yeah,
would you
fuck
want to
that.
tempt fate? The cord could snap. You could snap. Anything could happen
Hell, you
when
can
you're
hit the
not in
water.
control. You know, when you've given up control when you've decided to take that venture.
Right.
This is what you're seeing in everyday life. And it's really funny because as of late, I've started saying this more and more, and some of you guys may attribute it to me, and I don't mind. I say everybody ain't gonna make it because people have found safe havens for themselves without dealing with issues, bro. You got an issue with your woman, talk to her. Sit down and talk to her. You got an issue with family member, talk to them. You got a beef with a guy across the street or something, talk to him. If you made that trick to try to do that and it wasn't resolved, maybe sometimes it might take something else and somebody might have to change and come around or whatever. But if you made no attempt to try to rectify something, take accountability, you know, then you're gonna just have a lump in the rug, so to speak. I like to smooth my rug out. I like to be able to vacuum it, have it look nice, carpet smell fresh. I don't know about some of these folks. They'll walk right in from outside and trek right through their home, and they've been walking some of God knows where outside,
Pissy ass bathroom.
and you trekking it all through your house. You got to take your shoes off at my door. You understand? And if your feet smell like corn chips, you can't come in. I'm sorry,
Mm.
huh?
Mm-mm-mm.
I don't invite that. Now, bringing that back to what you were saying about Deontay Wilder, it is my personal thought that he go ahead and enjoy his life and family. The reason being is they got him already. They got him when he was vulnerable. They took advantage when he wasn't aware. And I understand that sometimes when a person gets taken advantage of, you want that get back. You want to be able to say, you know what, you didn't get the best of me, so here I come. But I'm sorry. In this instance, they got him. And I saw these things before they played out, but I was hoping that the considerations of something like what he's talking about right now
Mm.
was done before the second fight. And I had a stream that I did. I don't know which one it is. I would have to go back in my own archives where I said if he's going to go into the rematch with Tyson Fury, the brother needs to be prayed up. That was kind of like my way of saying that spiritually, he needs to be in the right place. You know why? Because he was dealing with unsavory spirits. Yeah. And a lot of people don't want to believe in that. But we are in a spiritual realm and it's all around us, you know? And when it comes to big time dollars and things of that nature, you have to understand that the entertainment business is aligned with that. Yeah, like it or not, it is, brother.
My whole thing with that was that I was I don't understand how people can't see that no matter how you put it, how deep they can go or whatever the case may be. But if you can see the fight with Danny Jacobs and that other Russian dude this weekend, and you can't say, that was kind of odd. Those scorecards are kind of odd. I don't see how that decision could have been made. And there's fights other than that you can't say that some way, some shape or form that somebody out there rather will lie, cheat, and steal rather than win a fair fight, because at the end of the day, it's all about money. It's all
Yeah,
about money. It's
yeah.
like if you're not gonna, like, when people, if somebody in your household, right, you could have a whole table full, a whole kitchen full of people playing spades, people watching, and somebody would sit there and try to fucking cheat,
Yep.
right there in front of everybody's
In front
face.
of everybody.
And then when they get caught, swear up and down that they didn't cheat. You could catch them with the card. You could do this, that, and the third. And it could be, they could be playing PD pat for quarters, for dollars. You know what I'm talking about, Stormy B, man.
Yeah, of course.
Some, you're playing for money, but not too big of a money, but it's just something to just gamble with.
Something on the line. Yeah.
Yes. And people will still fucking try to cheat. That's like, you could have a couple, a man and a woman that's a couple, and another man and a woman that's a couple, and one of them couples gonna be throwing signs, tapping people's feet, all kind of things, trying to fucking cheat. Dominoes. People, when you're playing teams of dominoes, people will be literally, if you ain't paying attention, they will literally say shit to cheat. Like, cheating is always gonna happen. You watch the
Right.
Super Bowl, you be looking at the ref like, how you right there? How you didn't see this dude grab this dude's face mask? How you didn't see this? But at the end of the day, is that no, nobody, it's like the integrity of boxing don't want to say that they have a problem, because as soon as they say they have a problem, then they got to go back and check up all this shit, and they're gonna look bad because they are the ones ultimately that's responsible.
No, you know what? It's not even that, Mike. It's actually this. That's what boxing is built on.
Cheating.
Yeah. It's like having a one-ups over somebody. It wasn't built on fair play. Huh? It was built on, hey, I'll put my slave against your slave. Huh? And what's the wager for winnings? Oh, I'll say you gotta give me a couple of your cows, one of your bed winches or something. Do you understand? It's like, dude, Mike Tyson said it best a long time ago. He said the peddling of flesh is basically what boxing is.
Yeah.
And, because Mike says some absurd things from time to time, and he has a way of putting words, and sometimes they'll just go in one ear and out the other, because, he's always used these phrases and vocabulary that sometimes didn't really go smoothly. So people were like, what the hell is he saying now? You know what I mean? But when he said that, I was listening. It's the peddling of the flesh, brother. And when you're doing that, you're dealing, and someone Rob Sportsman Lee in your chat there, he wrote, after I said unsavory spirits, he said more like unsavory characters. But you have to understand, Rob Sportsman Lee and anyone else that's listening, characters are driven by what?
Man.
Spirit.
Yeah, that too.
You can't get around that. You can't.
Yeah, but my whole thing is like, I did a video on that Herkovic guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can go back and show. I've been meaning to do it, but you can literally go back and watch all. You got the WBC and all these commissions saying that safety is first, the well-being of the fighter is first, but they keep letting this dude smack people upside. He keep letting smack motherfuckers upside the back of their head in every fucking fight. Every fucking fight. I got a clip on my YouTube page, a small clip, about 8 fucking times. I didn't catch them all, but I caught 8 fucking times. This dude literally pulls somebody's head down and smacks him right in the back of the fucking head. And guess what the ref do? Nothing.
Check this out. We know that the third fight between Wilder and Fury was going to be contested in such a manner that they were down to looking at the officials, the referees, and everything. And the referee was changed at the 11th hour.
I didn't know that.
Fight. Okay. And you know the story behind that? Because the referee that ended up becoming the ref for the fight is a referee that many years ago was asked to be banned.
I remember that.
Okay. For what? Fouling, punches being hit behind the head and everything. The same thing that you're talking about right now is what he was asked to be removed for and they brought him back in a very big, high profile fight with Wilder and Fury 3. And for what? This is a disingenuous referee, a man who has had an affiliation with the WBC for many a years. You can trace his history back. He's been at public places and everything, seen with the Suleiman family, wearing WBC gear and everything. That's a conflict of interest, brother, at the end of the day. And they brought him in there. But the fight that questioned his integrity as a ref was a fight that took place where there was so much fouling and low blows and rabbit punches that he found a way not to penalize the one who was supposed to and have, points taken away, even be disqualified. And he comes back as if nothing. This is what I'm talking about. The peddling of flesh. As long as you've got mixed up individuals, and when I say mixed up, what that means is that they're mixed into the questionable proceedings enough to question their integrity and everything like that, then they are a part of it. Which is why I said Deontay got taken advantage of. And I'm not trying to harp on that, but I'm just stating a personal thought there. And it's like, when you don't know what you're dealing with, man, you got to get schooled up. And if you don't, you really can't complain at the end of the day that you didn't know after they do what they do to you. Has anyone ever talked about the third fight and Tyson Fury's ring entrance? Has anyone ever talked about that?
I thought, when I was
You know,
looking
he
at it,
performed some sort of ritual before he walked to the ring, right?
it kind of it looked at w- real suspect to me.
Listen, Mike, you're a grown man. You and I have talked on these airways before. Don't fumble your words, brother. Speak them
No,
freely.
when I was saying it was like it looked at gay. That's what I mean, like suspect. Like
Okay. When you say it looked as suspect, this is what I take away from that. Something didn't look right. It just didn't look right. It was different. I could come to the ring. Hector Camacho used to do it all the time. He had exciting ring entrances. He'll come in looking like a gladiator one moment. And we later found out from his documentary, it was his sister who was creating all of his wonderful wardrobes as he walked to the ring.
no, didn't know that.
But yeah, his documentary that's on Showtime, check it out. It's wonderful about Macho Time. Oh man, it's one of the best boxing documentaries you could see. I caught it early last year and loved it. But yeah, his sister designed all of his ring attire when he would come to the ring. It was nice. But what I was getting at is Hector was an engaging personality, far away off the deck than Tyson Fury. But when he would come to the ring, he'd wear his outfits and this and that. Fury was doing something different on that night that he came to the ring. And it gave an image of kind of something like a gladiator appearance or whatever. But there were some men out there doing some type of ritualistic things before they even began the ring walk and all of that. And then some things probably took place in the locker room as well. What I'm getting at is this. On the night that they were having their first fight, something was similar taking place. And I'm aware of dark arts, okay? I was, spoken to about some things as a young person in life. So it does exist, but you'll be surprised how many people are unaware, but are also subjected and are brought in. Their energies are brought in to participate, and they don't even know it. That's why you got to be careful. Rhythms, music, stuff like that. It's very important to understand that, but we don't. It's like we just kind of go with what we want to go with. And I talked about David Carradine earlier. You can get drawn into things and not even know it. But I said all that to say this. whatever's happening around the top of the heavyweight division right now, Tyson Fury will be there for a minute, and there's something about that. But if you're not in this for the right reasons, you better get right. Otherwise, there will be advantages taken of individuals who have no idea what's going on. Really. You don't play boxing, you know, and that's just not another quote to just throw around irresponsibly. Man, people better wake up, brother. They better wake up.
I mean, the way I put it is that, I don't know what happened, but at the end of the day, you know, just nothing looked right that day. Nothing looked right the second fight. Nothing looked right the third fight that day, and it's just, you know, some
Dealing with that
unexplainable
man
shit.
in particular altogether, nothing looked right. Nothing.
It's
And
just unexplainable. Like, you go into one fight, it looks like that. You go into the next fight, it looks like that. It's just nothing. You could say conspiracy theory, X Files, or whatever the case may be, but when you see, like, this is why I try to tell this dude, you have possibly $80 million on the line just for that fight. Promoter's going to get his cut. The manager's going to get his cut. These networks going to get their cut. And then the future proceeds from this person. And I said from a very long time, like, as soon as Deontay Wilder got that, but I said to folks, man, they don't want him to be champion. They don't want him to be champion. They wanted him, if they wanted Deontay Wilder to be champion, they would have put him on that pedestal. They didn't want to put him on that pedestal. If you look at everybody else that gets a motherfucking belt, look what they do with them. The only person in boxing that wasn't able to get with it, he couldn't get away with nothing. Everything Deontay Wilder said when he opened his mouth, people had something to say about it. And the people that some people would say that matters, they had nothing negative to say about the dude. They had no positive things to say. Like, there's a difference between you trying to help somebody out and you having constructive criticism, but there was money put out there, in my opinion,
yeah,
to where people had smear campaigns, people on social media just going around regurgitating some weird, all oddball shit that had nothing to do with boxing. And I tell people all the time is, how the fuck can you be mad at a fighter for giving their opinion on what happened that night, but you can't be mad at the WBC? You don't have that same energy for the WBC. You don't have the same energy for all these other fighters. They ain't giving you the fight that you want to see. But then when people like Canelo get a fight, you all of a sudden are satisfied with what you're getting. But you're not. Deep down inside, you're not happy with them talking about some Bivol and Triple G with Canelo. You're not happy with that. To you, you're satisfied because the more important thing in life for you is to kick somebody while they down, try to grandstand that you were right and you all alone with Deontay Wilder losing. You're more carried about some domestic level fighters in the UK where every time they come up over here, they get their ass whooped or they quit. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like if you can't see, if you can see with all these other fighters that, oh, Billy Joe quit. No, he didn't quit. Anthony Joshua, he didn't quit. But then when you see Deontay Wilder, all of a sudden you got a different mindset. Your whole fucking being around Deontay Wilder just doesn't sit right. Maybe it's because you don't like him. Maybe because you don't understand him, or maybe because you have a different perspective on boxing, but your perspective doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean, and the reason why it doesn't mean shit because you too worried about what's coming out of somebody's mouth than somebody getting in the ring. Because if Deontay Wilder was to come back, they would lose their damn mind. They would lose their damn mind. If he was to come back and have a fight, they'll lose their damn mind. Because that's what they want. They want him to come back to fight some Dillian White and some Derek Chisora. Mr. Derek Chisora with how many L's? Dillian White, the dude who got whooped by a 40-year-old with gout. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. I hope Jared Anderson is better than what we think he is because he's a young man. He's still got time to grow and take care of some of these dudes. What they saying out there? Vote UK put a link up in there. He said it's mad video. I wanted to laugh, Mo, but I couldn't see the man was place else. Mo said, I'd rather you tell it in the chat. I'd rather not watch it. Vote said, no, it's not bad. It's a guy who does 5 meal. It's like that DMT. Nah, you talking about somebody doing drugs? Is that what that is, DMT? Tyrone said, salute Rob. Mo Boxer said, all right, bro, I'll watch it in the right back. Mo Votes UK said, Mo, watch it, bro. If you see the guy in the video, this is what Wilder wants to do. Oh, yeah. It's liquor toe. Yeah, some people say it's supposed to reset you. A lot of people say that they, listen to Jens, they see something spiritual in it, and it helps them to make decisions in their life. Takes you on a spiritual journey. And if you uh, talk to anybody that's done acid and stuff like that, they always say they've seen things and stuff like that. But like when Stormy Beatman talk about with these spiritual stuff, that's what it is. That's what it's going to appear like it's going to take you to a spiritual place. You're going to see some things, and I'll put it to you like this: whatever there is in this world, there's something out there that puts and that brings everybody together. There's something out there. If you hear music, and that music has a tendency sometimes to give you goosebumps when you hear somebody sing real good, or when the beat's hitting real hard, it has a tendency to make you move. You might not be able to dance, but it makes you move.
Yeah.
And even when some of y'all think about it, some people they get on YouTube and listen to people, and the words that person gives them, makes them get up out of their seat and do something in their life. The the words that sometimes people give people on YouTube makes them think differently. It makes them have a different perspective on life. If you listen to a lot of these guys on YouTube and you look at the responses that they get from people in the chat, some way, some shape, form, whether or not you can explain it or not, they've been touched some type of way.
Right.
Spiritually, mentally, something. Because some people out there, you would see they give 78 Storm B Man a lot of people props throughout the day because they have helped them in their life. And sometimes it's not the words, it's how you put it and how you can relate to the person and touch them. And sometimes that, if you think about it, is spiritual. If you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It can become a heck of an influential tool,
And it could be in a good or bad way.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why, like, off of my own platform, I like to keep it a certain kind of way. And I don't deviate from that because I understand that my message goes out to the world. Not that no one else understands that. I'm not even trying to imply that. But I know that there's a certain way I want to represent myself. You know what I mean? So there are certain things I won't stoop to. There are certain things I won't allow myself to be drawn into. Even if I have to cut it off and come back and do a stream at another time or whatever, I will do those things because I'm not trying to drum up the rhythms of something that's negative. I want my brand to always be associated with as much positivity as I can control. And that's what I'm saying. I can control. I'm not going to allow certain things, but at the same time, we're dealing with the universe here. So a lot of times some things will come across your doorstep, but and you have to deal with it, a particular way or whatever. But I do understand we do have a responsibility.
Mm,
Some of us don't care. You know what I mean? It's
right.
like, you just go, man, and let rip. It's like, okay, but is that really the best overall? You know? So, but when I saw you pop up, I got your message, that you popped up that you was live, and I saw what you was talking about. I was like, let me come on here and show Michael some support here, because that subject is pretty pretty tight, but at the same time, you even heard my message right off the bat. It's like, okay, I offer something, but I offer something because I want someone to take a different look at what it is. That doesn't mean that, oh, Stormy got an inside track and you ought to listen to what he said. No, but it's just, it's like, hey, a perspective, because an open mind can receive information like a sponge, man, you know. And that's what it's all about. But it's a hell of a subject you got here. It really is.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is that UK is big on marketing these
Mhm.
fighters, and they bring out all the bells and whistles. When you in high school, they teach you about marketing a little bit. They tell you that, look at the Burger King sign and McDonald's sign. This is the reason why they use these type of colors, and that's the reason why it's like this, because they know subliminally you're going to look and it's going to be instilled within your mind. So consciously, you would know what it looked like. If you see the Burger King sign, you're going to know exactly how that burger is supposed to taste. You see the McDonald's sign, you know exactly how that those burgers and those fries is supposed to taste when they're hot. You know what I'm saying? It's like subliminally you're being engaged to be on these type of things. Look at TikTok. They know now well that people getting this TikTok stuff. They know subconsciously the way they have everything on there is that you can't help, once you own, you can't help but to watch for a little bit.
Right.
And that's the reason why some people, you will look at them and you ask them, hey, what are you doing? Looking at TikTok. And they've been on TikTok for 30 minutes watching videos. 30 fucking minutes. 30 fucking minutes. The same thing with these porn websites. They put them up there like that. So they know when they do their studies, they come to find out people been on these porn websites hours out of a day. Hours. And when you look at the boxing in the UK compared to over here in the US, the way they market it and such. And so no matter if you're thinking about it or not, they're trying to paint these dudes as like being way up here. And they're trying to strip you of all the stuff that you knew about boxing. And then just say, hey, look, I got John Ryder. Never mind about the asterisk decision part about it, Never mind that. Because at the end of the day, this is the guy, if Canelo was to come up over here, this is who he would fight. Then watch how much money they're going to push into social media to have these guys just keep regurgitating this shit, knowing now well it was just a good decision for him. I didn't see John. You see John Ryder winning that fight, Stormy B, man?
No. But what I saw was Danny Jacobs left a door open for something to happen to him in that fight, because he's had this disposition for a while. I can't pinpoint when it happened to him. It may have been, who did he fight first, Canelo or Triple G? I don't remember which of those guys he fought
It
first.
was Canelo.
I think he fought, but something happened with him where he began to like think a lot loftier of himself than what he had actually achieved. And I noticed that arrogance in his speak, the way he carried himself and things of that nature. But his performances didn't measure up. Now, he got that quick knockout against Quinlan, and I think that went to his head as well, because that made him think he's a real fighter, but he caught Peter just like Peter could have caught him, and got
Mm.
him out of there. It can happen to a guy. But when he got rid of Rozier and stuff like that, and it's like more the same of a guy who's kind of smelling his own meat, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay. But when I saw the fight that he performed against Gabe Rosado, that's when I knew that I didn't like Danny Jacobs. Because Gabe Rosado is a veteran fighter who will give you a good fight. He's not a world-class championship fighter, but he can fight at the championship level because he's one of those type of guys that if you don't have something special, you can't get past him. And his performance against Rosado, Rosado had come from a place where he had suffered cuts and things like that, dropped some decisions, always gave a good effort. And when Danny fought him, I could actually see Danny in the fight trying to cut the guy, trying to go for his scar tissue and stuff, instead of trying to beat the man. You know what I mean? I'm looking at the fight. You can go back and watch it yourself, and you'll see the things that I'm talking about. And it happened to the degree that Rosado was outboxing him. And they gave Danny the decision in the end. And I was like, wait a minute. I did a post-fight show on it. I was like, Danny didn't win this fight, y'all. What were y'all looking at? Gabe beat the guy. And Gabe was on a comeback. He had strung together a couple of wins against lesser opposition, and he fought Danny. And they gave that decision to Danny over him. And I was like, man, he didn't win that fight. And Danny has fought now twice since then with this recent fight with Ryder. And I said to myself, now he should know how Gabe feels. And Gabe actually, who went to the UK, they called him over to be a guest color analyst. And he said that. He was like, I thought Danny won the fight, but he was like, but you know what? Now he knows how I feel. So I laughed when he said that. I was like, man, karma. And I talked about that in my post-fight show. I was like, look at this. Danny has experienced it now. All that ego, talking about touching M's and trying to talk with all that class and uppityness and everything. Went out there and got his teeth fixed, which, okay, you get money like that. Yeah, get your teeth fixed and everything. But he just got knocked down a peg because he didn't accomplish it in the ring, right? He should have went over there and knocked Ryder out in 5 or 6 rounds, but he didn't. You know why? Because he can't. But in his mind, he thought he was better than Ryder, which is why he never made the adjustments once the 7th and 8th round took place, which were Ryder's best rounds. Started banging him around, couldn't get his head out of the way. He looked like a bobblehead doll in there. It wasn't enough to win the entire fight, but you're in the other guy's backyard. And if you don't know how it's played, man, now you know, huh?
Yeah. I just saw, I saw him, as soon as I saw him start blinking in the ring, I was like, it's a wrap. And he kept just standing in front of him. In some spots, sometimes there was like 2 instances where he just stopped. He just stopped and just stared at him and got hit. And I'm like, the fuck is he doing? It's like, I said something before the fight about Danny Jacobs on the lines of that there was something about him I just didn't like. Something about him, like, and part of that is because he has a tendency to throw one fucking punch and not move the fuck out of the way. Throw one punch and not move the fuck out of the way. Like, stick. You got this dude literally moving around on your ass, not staying still, and you swinging and you ain't moving. You know what I'm saying, Stormy? After like the 6, 7 round, he's not moving. The other guy is moving, using angles, and you just sitting there letting this dude pop you. If you're not, to me, I just think that like you said, man, you can't be going in people's backyards and just doing enough, just to thinking that you can't just do enough and be average and think you're gonna get the win. You got to take it. And because in boxing, like you said, if Danny Jacobs can't knock the dude out, which I think if he would have fought a different way, because like you said with the Rosado fight, if 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 you pick if you fight in the fight to win and you just touching them here, there, you're not a light guy yourself. Eventually, those you're going to get those openings. Eventually, you're going to get those openings. If you if you go into the ring against a guy like John Ryder when you're Daniel Jacobs and you just throwing fucking haymakers, you know what I'm saying? You that's because that's what he started doing, just throwing, trying to hope something.
Listen, this is the thing. At the end of the day, check it out. You're making a great point because look at Canelo against Caleb, right? Now, it got late in the fight. Canelo went for it. He went to get Caleb on up out of there. At what point in this fight against Ryder did Danny just say, you know what, I'm better than this kid. Let me go and get him up out of here. He never made that adjustment. So basically, if Canelo had the same mindset as Danny, Caleb Plant would have went to a decision with him. But this is where you have the separation between fighters. And you know, when you have a certain amount of ability, sometimes you might have to call on it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I've messed around with this guy long enough. Let me go and get his ass up out of here. Well, where was that for Danny outside of that mentality of just thinking that he's superior, but not showing it with his fists? You see what I'm saying? And that's what was missing. And that's what I harped in on and talked about him, because it's not there. Only in his own mind. And I would even question this. I said, Andre Rozier came back for this? Huh? Really? Think about that.
Mo, you got anything to say? So I see you walking around the streets. You on mute.
Yeah. I'm going for my walk in before I sleep, man. How's it going, guys? How's it going, Stormy B, man? How's it going, Mike?
Hey, man, how you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, man. You know, I walk before I sleep in it, so I walk like half an hour before I go to bed. It's nearly 10 o'clock in our time.
Man, Mo Boxing out there selling drugs. Fucking with you, man.
I mean? Walk around the UK, man. But yeah, listen, Stormy, man, you made a great point about Deontay Wilder, man. Like, I think, you know, it's time for him to retire, man, because I don't think he's got anything else to prove, you know. It's time to enjoy your money. And like you said, you know, they got to him early, you know, and he didn't realize it. And we should have seen it coming as well, to be fair, you know. And now they want to give him his flower. And, you know, it's too late now. It's too late. So, yeah, I agree with you, what you said about him, you know, enjoying with his family and all that. And another thing as well, have you guys heard about what he's about to do? He's about to go to South America, and he's about to do some, I don't know what it's called, but Volts UK, he put a link in the chat. I just literally watched it, and it looks quite haunting. I don't know what you guys think about that, but in my opinion, I think that's mad if he does that, you know. And if he's contemplating about retirement, I think he should just go ahead and retire. You know, he made his money, you know. He's got 10 title defenses. You know, he's a legend already in his own right. So, yeah, man. That's pretty much what I got to say, man. But, yeah, that video, that link, that thingy, Volts UK put in the chat, man. That's crazy, man. Have a look, man. That's haunting, man.
I put
haunting, bro.
But that's the thing, Mo, is that when you take those type of drugs, it might look bad on the outside, but on the inside, if you listen to what people say that happened to them after the fact, including Mike Tyson, because Mike Tyson, he takes it a few times out of a year. If you listen to these guys, I'm not sticking up for it. I don't think anybody should be doing shit like that. You know, stick to weed and you know, if you can't leave the alcohol alone, just get you a few hits every now and again. But it's each his own thing. You know what I'm saying? Hell, some cats is out there doing cocaine right now as we speak. Some of these boxers, they probably out there, you know, putting needles in their arm. Won't even know.
Yeah, but is it drugs that he's gonna take, or is he gonna have some sort of ritual that they're gonna read on him?
I don't know what they're gonna do.
South America, that's crazy stuff, bro.
It's crazy to us because we don't do it. It's crazy.
Yeah,
That's but spiritually and religion wise, that's
yeah,
not what we do.
yeah.
But
But
to
I
them,
thought, yeah, but I thought he was Christian though. I thought he was, his dad is, a priest, a Christian, and this type of stuff. Christians don't do this stuff. So I
well,
don't know,
it
man.
depends. It depends because a lot of Christians do a lot of things. Fornicate,
Okay,
drugs, drink alcohol, wear
yeah,
expensive jewelry, eat pork.
yeah,
There's a lot of things that Christians eat. Fish without scales, clove-foot
yeah,
animals. So there's a lot of things that people do as a Christian. But spiritually
yeah,
wise,
yeah.
if
Mhm.
you looked at it and you actually paid attention what they're saying and stuff like, because they got one on Vice News as well. So if you can go to the Vice News website and you can listen to what people say while they were on this, they would actually say that they actually had a spiritual something. They saw something spiritual. Just saying.
Yeah, but I don't know about that, bro, man. I think like if he's saying he needs to do that first, and then he's gonna think about whether he needs to retire or not. I think maybe Stormy can have a say on that. But
No, he
from
said
him
might.
speaking
He said maybe.
in
He
that
didn't say
type
he
of
was gonna
way,
do it. He said
and the thing
maybe.
is though, like like in that interview, I don't know if you watched it. I don't know if you guys watched that interview with Brian. Brian, I forgot his last name. The guy,
Custer.
is his friend, the guy, the basketball guy, and he's basically saying, yeah, like he wasn't saying a lot, but his missus was speaking a lot, and Deontay in that entire interview, he was shaking a lot. He was literally shaking. I don't know whether he's getting that illness that Muhammad Ali had, but I don't know. It's not looking good, to be honest. The body language is not looking good, and I think to be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you, yeah. I think it's not looking good, bro, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just giving my honest opinion. It's not looking good, man. I think what happened in that third fight, it took a lot out of him, and obviously in the second fight, with the dent and all that, that dent is still gonna be there, and if he comes back and he gets hit like somebody like Dillian White or that are way harder puncher than Tyson Fury or AJ, or even a Derek Chisora that punches quite hard, like. I don't know, man. I think things are not looking good, to be honest. But anyway, I want to hear Stormy. What do you think about all of this stuff, man? Because
Well, I do
it's
believe,
mad.
and I appreciate you, asking me to chime in on that. But and I have spoken about it at length and then in short snippets. I do believe he's been compromised with the injuries he sustained after the second fight, including that dent that is now a permanent thing in the side of his head. If you go back and watch the third fight, every single solitary right hand that Tyson Fury threw, he targeted that spot each and every time. He targeted that spot and he got tremendous results out of it. Tyson Fury can't bust a grape. We know that he hasn't stopped many men with punching KOs. He's had a lot of TKOs and stoppages, but not what he ended up doing to Wilder. And I do believe what's compromised in Wilder's ability to have a resistance to punches has transpired in the second and third matches against Fury. That being said, um, the the thing about him going further, I believe he's maxed out simply because he is probably one of the least talented boxers to get the most success out of his stretch run. And that can never be taken away. It should never be frowned upon. It should never be ridiculed because there are men who have had far more schooling and education and preparation in the sport of boxing than he did. A lot of what he was able to get done came from his hard work ethic, God-given talent, and blessing along the way. So it's like you know, when you've worked twice as hard, but another guy just came along and did something so smooth, it's like, man, I've been doing this all this time, and then this guy just comes by and walks past like it's no effort. That happens in life. Sometimes people have that fortune, you know, and we have paths that we walk in life. This man has a certain type of family upbringing, and maybe he was put on to have and achieve the success he did so he can take care of the people who were as close to him as the reason that he got involved in the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
And now he can go further and become an ambassador because of his accomplishments.
Yeah, but Stormy, like, what do you think about this spiritually thing going to South America? This is not the you know the way he was brought up though as a kid. You know, he was a Christian man. You know, when he was brought up as a kid.
Lets you know, that lets you know that he's dealing with the issues of what I suggested earlier.
Right.
Earlier in me joining on here with Mike and now yourself, I said they got him. They got him. You have to understand that man, every time he looks in that mirror, he sees that dent in his head. Every time he decides he want to, you know, watch boxing or something like, he'll be reminded of what he went through with this trilogy with this guy who really didn't deserve the opportunity at the
So
end of
he's
the
damaged
day.
now. He's not the same.
Being 2020. Hindsight being 2020. That guy didn't deserve it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But being the kind of man he is, he gave the guy an opportunity. I can't be mad at what he chose to do at the moment. You know what I mean? Muhammad Ali gave men opportunities that didn't really earn them, but he gave guys an opportunity at a payday, a shot at the title. So it can happen in a sport.
Why did he though? Why? When we think about it, why did he give Tyson Fury the opportunity? Do you think it was, you know, did he think it was a bit easier for him to beat him because
he
he came
looked
from a
at
long
it as
playoff?
an easy fight. I think he actually respected Tyson Fury's ability. I don't think
Did he though?
he was well versed
Well,
in Tyson Fury's underhanded aspect of
that
boxing.
part right there.
Other stuff that was involved with him. I don't think he knew that. The world
but listen though.
check it out. Hold on. The world knows it now, and they still won't hold him accountable for it. How about that?
But that's what I'm saying. But we've been promised about the paperwork and all that, the court papers and all that. By, you know, Tay Jones and all that, they said that, you know, they'll bring out the court papers, all that. You know, we fought hard tooth and nail.
But Mo, I told you, I told everybody, it's like people got to understand this it's Deontay Wilder's issue.
Yeah.
Like if you as a fan choose to stick your neck out there and to do this, then do this, that, and the third, blah, 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 whoop, and then expect him to come out here and do that, then that's your business. But at the end of the day, you ain't being truthful with yourself. It's all up to him. He didn't promise nobody that he was going to come out and put this out and then the third. That's why I said in the beginning of the video that at the end of the day, there's no need to talk about it anymore if you're not going to show anything. Hold up. Because me, you, and Stormy B Man know at minimum that something the shit didn't look right. The shit didn't, and there's aspects of it, multiple aspects that it didn't look right. You know what I'm saying?
I want to tell you something. It's like, you know, after we've been told after arbitration, after the fight, you know, what the doctor said, the doctor has some evidence about the dent in the head and all that sort of stuff, all that sort of stuff. The doctor, he was going to bring out that evidence out. That's what we've been told. That's what we've been fighting tooth and nail. You know, I was one of the only UK people that was fighting hard for Deontay. No one else. People were saying I'm deluded and all that sort of stuff, yeah? But guess what? I stuck my neck out as well, yeah? And then the third fight, exactly the same thing happened. The same thing. And Stormy, you know what I'm talking about. You know, and
I do understand what you're saying.
You know,
and this is
it's frustrating, isn't
it? It would have been easier with a victory to put that jacket on. But because the fight ended up playing out like it did, these people probably had to go back and reassess what they're going to do, because it is really a moot point now. It's like it's almost like water under the bridge because he lost, and now you're going to say like, well, he's just a sore loser. You know, people will do that, and this is the thing. So to kind of keep his cards close to the vest, as to use the analogy that Mike was using earlier about playing cards, it's a better look for him to take a hiatus, think things through, and what his next step will be. Because I'm almost as sure as my name is Stormy B Man on these channels here, that had he been victorious, that would have come. And it's a better jacket to wear, you must admit, as a victor. But being a person now who not only has he literally lost, he got stopped. Now it's like people are saying, what's next? You know what I'm saying? In other
Yeah,
words,
but
let's move on
yeah, but
behind.
he said he said I want to go out on my shield. And
Yes.
do you know what? Yeah, in that second fight, yeah, I was frustrated in it that the towel was thrown in, and I was agreeing with him. But having seen that he went out on his shield, that I didn't want to see that. You know,
But
and Malik Malik should have, he should have known better. But he was told, do not do this.
Mo,
And it's frustrating, if you know what I mean. It's just the whole thing has been frustrating, man.
Mo, that ain't for me and you to decide. We might not want to see it, but that's not for me and you to decide. You see what I'm saying? It's like you talking about the man that's in charge, the man with the career on the line, the man with the legacy on. That's for him to decide, not for me and you.
Mike, did you understand the point I was trying to make, though?
Yes.
Yeah, I understand Stormy as well. I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
But it's
because
just frustrating
what
altogether.
happens is when you're winning,
Yeah.
okay, let's just let
Right back.
you talk about last night we had the Super Bowl. When you're a winning team, people pay attention to you. Oh, that's the champ. That's the when you are the one that came in second, you might have a viable case. But people still say, oh, you're crying sour grapes. Oh, man, go sit down somewhere. You already lost, boo-hoo you. That's our society, man. That doesn't make it right. But this is an honest assessment. He may still be able to bring some kind of a case, but like Mike suggested, that's on him when he would like to enact that, if he's going to do so. But when you asked me what did I think about him going over here to do the things that they're talking about he might be doing, that is because it's still eating at him that they got the better of him. And I'm not talking about winning the fight. When I say they got the better of him, I'm talking about how the powers that be, the PTB, excuse me, came together and conspired to remove that WBC championship away from him so they can continue to play the game without him being a part of it. Because he was dangerous. He was knocking everybody the hell out. And if you ask me, he knocked Fury out twice. But it ain't in the record books. I saw it with my own eyes. But it ain't in the record books. But that's exactly why they wanted to lift that title away from that man. Because you get a guy like that with the title, yeah, somebody will challenge him for it, but it's a hell of a challenge, isn't it? To try to get through a scheduled 12-round fight with one of the most devastating punchers in heavyweight history, and you don't know if you can make it or not. Because as he said, you got to be perfect for 12, and all he got to be perfect for is a couple of seconds, the time that it take to throw it and then land. So it's like, that's really something to think about at the end of the day. But I'll give you a little bit of information here that you should never sleep on. After the first fight, the troll and leprechaun, that is Larry Merchant, showed his ass up on PBC the next day and went into one of his diatribes about his philosophies when it comes to boxing. And he made certain to say, is Deontay Wilder the last black hope?
Yeah, I remember
Such a
that.
disrespectful remark. But that sucker came out of his HBO grave because he hadn't been anywhere.
Like
Not
anybody
in
was looking
print,
for him.
not on television or anything. And they called him into their studios. The same company, PBC, that was promoting Wilder. They called that elvish bastard. Yeah, I called him that. To come into their studios and say such disrespectful things about a man who had done nothing deserving of Merchant's venom, that he has held fast to his vest since Larry Holmes told him years ago, as long as black fighters are fighting the way they are, there will be no white heavyweight champion. That's what Larry Holmes said many years ago when he lost to Spinks. Okay? And Larry Holmes turned back the challenge of Jerry Cooney, and so did Michael Spinks, who defeated Larry Holmes. And the Tyson era began after Michael Spinks. So when you think about what Larry Holmes said, and Larry Merchant was there in attendance, and he had to eat that crow, he rose up out of the graveyard for a so-called draw that they gave Fury against Wilder because they allowed him to go to the 12th round final
No.
bell.
That wasn't the first fight. That was the second fight when he came out. When Larry
No.
Mitchell came out, and when he made that statement, that was the second fight.
He came out and said these things, and again,
And the second fight told me
the people, they just allowed that. They allowed it, but it was disrespectful.
Because they don't listen. The BBC, they don't respect their own. Like they don't believe in black people. They think like the way the others are thinking. Like the Mexicans are selling and the Europeans. They don't back their own fighters.
Well,
like what we been believing for a long time. That's basically false. Like they don't. The BBC, we've been supporting them for a while, but they don't really
care.
Yeah,
they don't care. Like because
that's what I'm saying.
Because let me tell you why they don't care. Because they got this. So PBC got the deals with ESPN and all these other companies, and they allow these dudes to say whatever they want about their own fighters. They have people in place like Kelly Swanson and all these other cats that can have the abilities to stop some of this stuff, but they don't do none of it. They don't do absolutely none of it. If you look at Tyson Fury with UK media, you look at Anthony Joshua with UK media, they're not afforded those same rights to say whatever the hell they want to about the top UK fighters. But up over here, these cats, no matter what promotional brand you with, because the promotion, it might be top ranked with a deal with ESPN, but they can't control what them dudes say. And they're not. And they're absolutely not.
Listen, at the end of the day, like, even Al Heyman, I don't even think, he believes in the black dollar, I think none of them do. And unfortunately, they're getting it all wrong because most of the people that are spending are the black people, but they don't really get it. They see all the Spanish people buying it, being at the fight with Canelo and stuff like that, To be honest, they're deluded. Don't let them think like that. The only people that are keeping the sport alive is literally black people. None of these other people, they all went to UFC and all that. I'm telling you, man. They're all at UFC. But they just literally deluded, man.
But I spoke on that earlier, Mo Boxing, when Michael can tell you. I spoke on that earlier when I said that there is such a problem in society right now with the oppressors and
Stormy.
denial about oppression. There's a three-way battle going on there. And until people can come together collectively to decide what they are going to defend in their own honor, it's going to be a problem. The black dollar is significant in society. They would never tell you that. Statistics speak it every day. But the thing about it is, for the value of it, they don't value you. So it's like that's where your disrespect comes. Now, when are you going to get smart and become more proficient in how you divvy it out? That's on you as an individual. And they bank on you not being, hello, intelligent enough to know the difference.
That's
That's
what.
why I like. If you support Deontay Wilder or whether you support Terence Crawford or Errol Spence, just if they got cash up when they fight, put the money in the cash up, innit? Instead of buying the pay-per-view, because at the end of the day, the pay-per-view is not just them making the money, it's the others making the money. So if they got some sort of PayPal, something like that, pay them that way and then stream the fucking. Because at the end of the day, they don't value dollar anyway or pound. I'm in the UK, we use the pound, but yeah, just support them in a different way, man, or buy their merch and all that.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, Tim Smith came out, right? Tim Smith came out talking about the reason that Spence and Crawford probably ain't gonna happen is because ain't nobody gonna, pay for that fight. People will steal it and stuff like that. And then they slap Keith Thurman and Mario Barrios on pay-per-view. Was he worried about people not buying that fight or stealing it? In a fight that people
Exactly.
want to see, people will pay. You understand? That's the first thing. Hey, where do I sign? Where do I order? Huh? The
Yeah.
tickets for your favorite movie go on sale. You ordering them, right?
You
Let
know
me
what?
be
Yeah.
there on
You know what?
opening night.
Even that fight, yeah. Listen, from now on going forward, yeah, I'm gonna stream every fight. Even Errol Spence, if he fights against Terence Crawford, I'm streaming that shit. You know what? Because they don't respect us, the media people. I'm not talking about the fighters.
And you
The
have a
the the,
right to.
the
You have
platform
a
creators.
right to do that, more
Because they
boxing.
disrespect us so much now. Like it's just I used to buy a lot of pay-per-view, but I'd rather give super chats to the people that doing the call-ins and stuff like that, like the
Yeah.
likes of you.
And
So
and I can't disagree with you. I
mm,
support a mindset like that. But
yeah,
collectively,
yeah,
people have to decide what side of the fence they're going to be on. And with such indecisiveness, that therein lies our problem. And I'm sure Michael would agree with that, because it's like, dude, you could do so much with the leverage you have of your spending dollar. But man, you got people out here that, even though you say, hey, let's stand off on this fight and send a message, there's going to be people that say, forget what those guys say, man. Let me order today. It's like you got people like that. There are just some people who won't get on board with something that means far more than what you're looking at this moment. That's why I always talk about Terence Crawford's lawsuit against Bob Arum, what good it means for boxing. It might not serve a lot of good for Terence, but it sure as hell is going to mean something for the sport at the end of the day, because it shakes up some stuff. Huh? We may be getting the Shakur Stevenson fight and Oscar Valdez fight as a result of this, because they have to prove Crawford wrong. Am I right, Mike?
Right. They need some straightening over there.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we got to prove that we can make some fights now, huh? And that won't be the only one.
It can't be.
You see, but it shook up. It had an immediate imposition on what Top Rank's approach to the sport is right now. And until that gets resolved, they're going to have to make some other moves. And that's what we want. And that's what we've been talking about. But it's like, man, and I'll tell you something, and this has been a discussion on many a platform. So
You're
many
breaking it.
people
Okay.
that are pro Spence, pro Crawford, that they can't be pro boxing enough to understand, to send the message so that both men can benefit in the most significant of ways for the sport. They don't understand that. There have been a number of people who have come behind Crawford and said, "Oh yeah, I'm glad that he did a lawsuit and stuff like that. We'll see what happens." But those are some of the people that were like, "I just want Spence to beat Crawford or whatever." You should want the best for the sport. Crawford's lawsuit against Bob Arum is what's best for the sport.
I think it should have. I was saying he should have did it a long time ago.
This is the thing about not doing it a long time ago. He's got data. He's got experience.
Yeah, that too. But what I'm saying is,
over that time, this last contract that he worked for Bob, he got the guy dead to rights, Mike. The man saying on open mics, "Oh, I could have bought a house in Beverly Hills with the money I lost on a guy," when he can prove that this man hasn't operated in his best interest.
Nope.
And the fact that how long he was promised an opportunity against Manny Pacquiao, but it never happened. And then he's got the man on the mic saying, "Well, I killed that fight. And the reason I killed it because I knew how it was going to end, blah, blah, blah." He got him dead to rights. Yeah. He got him. And he did that while being under contract. You understand? Bud didn't never say.
And he didn't do the Antonio Brown either.
He even went and said something that we call stupid. And I said, because all of us, we were saying, "What you doing, Bud?" And he was like, "Y'all don't know Bob's heart." He was towing the line. But at the end of the day, now he's got his case. And he can say, "Look here, I didn't even badmouth the guy. I wasn't at war publicly with Bob. We weren't fighting in the papers. We weren't fighting online. We weren't fighting in live chats." He was like, "And this is how the man does me." Dude, he got that man dead to rights.
And that's crazy though, because look what he did for Lomachenko. Look what he did for
that's what Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury with the first ESPN deal.
That's what I'm saying.
Look what he's doing with Tyson Fury with his deal now. Look.
He got him
it's like it's like one of those things. Is like you allowing, you got to do like what I said in my video. Like, I'm not mad at Crawford and Terrence for not making that fight. I seriously think that if people out there really wanted to fight, those people would have made the fight happen. You know what I'm saying? It's like they would have threw the same amount of money they've been throwing at everybody else around here. You know what I'm saying, Stormy? But they didn't. And for why they didn't, is it Bob Arum, the one that threw the wrench out there and said, "No, I don't think this is gonna do this," and then the third, give him a couple more fights, let him get some more belts, this and the third, like, or was it just he was too worried about somebody else? Because at the end of the day, there's not a fight fan. This is just me. Even if you're not the dude out there to buy pay-per-views, I think that's the fight that people will be thinking about, whether or not were they gonna buy it or stream it. Because at the end of the day, you stream the fight, you're gonna have some hiccups. You know what I'm saying? You stream the fight, you might be a little bit behind. You know what I'm saying? You want to watch the fight with no interruptions, not have to worry about nothing. You know what I'm saying? You might be inclined to pay the $74 because somebody is giving you a fight that you want to see finally. You know what I'm saying? Like bona fide want to see, not being satisfied and watching. You want to see this one. And it's been going on for fucking 5-6 years.
Right.
Probably longer than that.
Right.
And we never gonna get it. And this is the reason why I say another thing that's been hurting is because people are too worried about arguing about who's at fault, rather than not just saying they just want to see the fight and stop bullshitting.
Right. Right.
And I'm happy that Crawford finally, but you're right though. He probably should have waited like he did and did it because the data and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's collected. He's got files on Bob now. So it's like, even if someone says, like, we can question, well, why did you re-sign with him and blah, 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 right? We don't know how long the contract term was when he signed, maybe 2-3 years. I don't know what it is. I didn't look that far into it. But what I will say is, under that time, What did Bob do in favor of him?
I don't think
And
much.
then, exactly, that's why he has him dead to rights. Because you know publicly, just like when Canelo broke away from Golden Boy, that was ugly. Huh?
Yeah.
That was ugly. They was fighting in the media and stuff. He was talking about Oscar and some of Oscar's unsavory things and stuff like that. But it was still a break. But you have to understand it this way. Bud ain't even asking for a lot of money. $10 million is a lot to you and I, but for those fighters, $10 million is not a lot. So you have to understand, if he's only asked for that amount, which is probably a single purse payday he could have got against Canelo, I'm not Canelo, against Manny Pacquiao, you have to understand, Bud has a direction that he's aiming this. And I applaud him for that, because he ain't trying to walk away and break the bank. He's like, I could have made $10 million, and that with a Manny Pacquiao fight, in comparison to what type of promotion I could have got out of a victory over Manny Pacquiao, where you think he would be standing today. You understand? So that right there is genius. It's genius. And the way he broke it off, the Sean Porter post-fight press conference, where he sat up there and said, well, if he couldn't secure this Earl Spence fight while I was with him, what make you think he can secure it while I'm not with him? And I wish everybody over there well. That was class. A mic drop. Because guess what? N-words don't act like that, do they? No. See, he acted like a gentleman, a businessman. That is going to be favorable for him in court. People don't think, bro. They don't think. You can go to court in a t-shirt and some blue jeans and some Timbs, right? Or you can go to court, put on your best shirt and tie and a sport jacket and some shine shoes, and the judge going to look at you two different ways. You got to put the armor on, bro, if you want to conduct that business. And I think that Bud did it the right way. We didn't know what was coming or how he was going to do it, but hindsight now, I'm of an age where I can look at it and see the class in what he did. People who think emotional will be like, man, he should have left 3 years ago. He shouldn't have never re-signed with him and this and that or whatever. Everything has its purpose.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you know, but I don't know when this is put out, but the WBO, you know that Andrade and Zach Parker?
Yeah.
Yeah, they on their ass. They on their ass, and they just came out of and that's another thing is just like, it's just some of these fighters out here, man, just can't get these fucking fights. It's like, how the fuck is you a boxer, right? Which I would have said not to join up with if I was Andrade, I would have, if I was somebody in his family, I would be like, yo, man, I don't know about that DAZN and Matchroom thing, man, because of you might not, it's a good thing for the short run, but it ain't a good thing for the long run for you, bruh. If you want to get some money real quick and stuff like that, yeah, go on with DAZN. But at Andrade's point in his career, should have never done it. Should have never done it. These cats talking about the minimum purse bid is $300,000. You know what I'm saying? And Edward Hearn ain't fighting for you to get you these fights like he's fighting for everybody else. You heard what he just said? Oh, I think the best fight right now in the UK, we got the best fighter for Canelo, and that's this dude we know you're gonna steamroll through. Fuck out of here. Are you serious? You
mean John Asphalt right?
Yeah. Like are you serious? Like we got the best candidate for you. Are you serious? Like first it was this,
You can't say Eddie ain't doing his job though.
man, that boy could polish a motherfucking turd real good and quick. Man, that's the real shoe sign boy right there. Because this shit is fucking ridiculous, man. It's like then you seeing all this other shit with fighters and stuff like that. It's like there's only one thing to do for boxing fans, and that's to make these fights. Like y'all more worried about us streaming these damn fights and scared about not making all this damn money and thinking that y'all can just keep putting on this bullshit and think you losing fans. Like Mo said, and we all believe we all, even if we don't believe it, we know at some point this has happened. Right. Boxing fans going to MMA. We know there's been a few over the years, and there's boxing fans like me, Laws. I know you has been getting tired of seeing this type of fuckery.
That's true. It's true.
It's like yeah. I'm a if you Canelo and you up there and you've been really fighting top notch guys, I'm all for you taking a break and fighting, giving somebody else a chance that might not get the chance and stuff like that, and taking a tune up. But how many tune ups do you got to have?
Right.
How many? Stevie Wonder knew who was going to win this motherfucking fights, and he can't see.
Let's hang on that term tune up for a minute. Tune ups used to mean, Mike, that a fighter who's had a layoff, now needs something like that to help get him back to a point where his timing and everything has returned and everything. But dude, everybody in boxing now needs tune-up fights. What the hell is up with that? That lets you know that they ain't fighting. They're not fighting, bro. Get your butt in the gym and be training and be ready to be called. These guys don't even be in the gym and be ready. They just be sitting around on Instagram and stuff like that and getting arrested and all of this other foolishness. And then you talk about them. Well, I can't fight him in 60 days. I need more time. I need 4 months. What?
Mm-hmm.
Man, if you don't go sit down somewhere, dude, that is ridiculous. It was like Thurman. He was like, he wanted this fight, and then he's like, maybe one more fight before he fights Crawford or something. I'm like, man, if you don't get out of here with that craziness, bro, it's like.
But that's what I'm saying is like I can see if like you in wars,
Right.
and you getting pieced up in these fights but you winning and stuff like that. But you ain't been in no war. The last war you had, you got your ass whooped.
Absolutely.
And motherfuckers was swearing up and down you was like 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they said. Oh, Canelo fighting Mayweather, he was 15 years old. He was barely out. He was still in high school. Like, come on, man. Like that's the last war he been in. The last time when somebody actually gave this motherfucker some work. Yeah, you can say the Triple G and all this stuff, but look at him. Look at him. When he left the fight, look at him. It wasn't like he was getting boxed up around the ring and stuff like that. It was a close couple of close fights, but it wasn't like he was getting boxed up around the ring. Now you're talking about bringing Triple G out. This dude who's been around the ringer for fucking years, and you're talking about we thinking about Canelo fight Bivol, and then possibly Triple G, which they've been hanging that shit on us for like the last couple of years since the zone came up over here, and then they told me, then we got this cruiserweight guy. His name is. We're gonna have him fight him too. Like, come on, bruh. Like,
dude, it's so crazy because like what you're saying, it's like, can you believe people will actually sit around and be thinking about Triple G fighting anybody? I'm like, the dude been on the shelf longer than an old pack of condoms. You understand? Unused. It's like, don't nobody want to see Triple G, bro. He looked like in his last fight he was through. You know what I mean? He did. He looked like, oh man, Father Time has not been kind at all.
And the nigga ain't fought since like what? December 2000. What was it? December something 2020.
Yeah. I mean, really. And
Go ahead.
no, I'm just gonna say, and he, you know, let's just say Canelo fights whomever he gonna fight, and then in the second fight, he gonna fight Triple G. Triple G just gonna sit around between now and then as well and be 42. Come on, man.
He 42.
I say 42 because sometimes those guys are a little bit older than what they say they are. The only fighters that we know, we can track our fighters. We can't track their fighters because we don't hear about them until they decide to tell us about them. You know what I mean?
No, we can't. Yeah, you're actually right.
It's like, and I'm going to tell you something. This is how you know a fighter is old when they're Eastern European or even just saying plain Caucasian. You could see the damage in their face when they have been in the game a long time. And there are two fighters in the game who take punishment, and it's like they look a lot older after a fight than when they were younger. And that's like Triple G and Vasily Lomachenko. Their faces are not holding up well. I don't know if it's the many amateurs that they've had. They're a couple of years older than what has been professed, or a combination of the things, but those men definitely show me something that's a little bit different, bro. They show me something that's a little bit different because they just don't look like fighters. Like, you could go back and look at Triple G when they first brought him on the HBO.
Young looking.
Look how youthful and exuberant his face is. And he ain't been in not like no wars like that or whatever. He's been cherry picking the entire time. But now when he fights a fight, or let's just say that his last fight he had well over a year ago, it's like his face looks like, man, he looked like he been 15 rounds. And when you see that kind of stuff, dude, that's typically it's speaking, that those guys are, and Vasily Lomachenko too. When he was in there and he was getting touched up, and I was saying to myself, I was like, Vasily looking old, I don't know. That's just my observation. I've seen that,
Votes UK said that Dillian White, he said apparently White has signed a deal with Sky, win or lose versus Fury. And then he also says, how do you rate Lomachenko career so far, Stormy and Mike? I mean, Lomachenko.
Go ahead, Mike. I'll let you go ahead.
I mean, Lomachenko. Like, look, man. I think that what's his name, Gary Russell. I think that he took that fight way too fucking soon, and
yeah,
I think that if he would have took it now, he would have took that ass, and. It's evident, he did the thing, kill them while they're young, and that's what he did. And it still kind of seems like that's still dangling over Gary Russell, man, with a lot of these fights, man. And then plus he's like that, guy who, if he shows up, when he shows up, because that's ain't no if, he is going to show up, he's going to be most likely, especially in the division he's in, most likely going to fucking win, And Lomachenko, he's just one of them dudes. Depends on you just gotta know who you're fighting, man. He fights different than a lot of people, man. You just gotta know who you're fighting. And some of these judges, they scoring his footwork more than his offensive abilities.
True.
You know, and at the end of the day, when you look at it, they could call him the Matrix, whatever the case may be, but the Matrix against who? You know what I'm saying? Because if he was to fight the guys that we wanted him to fight before he got his ass whooped, you know what I'm saying? And look who beat him. A young guy, right? That was, hungry, that he let his foot off the gas and thought he was going to come back and capitalize off the last end of the fight. didn't know that this young guy was gonna fucking keep up with him, and he gambled and he fucking lost because the mother he cannot fight nobody for fucking 12 rounds. He can only fight somebody for 6 rounds.
Right.
If it's easier for you to fight somebody that's not swinging, it's easier to fight somebody that you know that you can outstyle in the fight versus somebody that's gonna punch you back. Somebody that's gonna punch you back, and you actually got to move, and you actually got to punch, and you actually got to work. He can only fight
Keep
6
yourself
rounds.
safe. Yeah, and keep yourself safe too.
Correct.
You know,
Yes, I forgot about that part.
that's important because they can punch and don't have nothing on the punch, but if they got something on the punch, that means you got to keep yourself safe in a safe place during that fight. That's one of the reasons why I think Triple G just wanted to fight Canelo over and over and over again. He never felt like Canelo could knock him out. So that's why that's the biggest purse he can make off of a guy with a big name that ain't going to threaten to knock him out. But this is the thing. Father Time has caught up to his ass now. And I think Canelo has rolled that out. I think it's been a ploy the entire time, Mike, that Canelo has waited Triple G out so that the next time when he get in there for the trilogy, he can stop him. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. But allow me a moment real quick to answer Volts UK's question. Volts UK, as far as Lomachenko, where do I rate him? I rate him as incomplete because he came over here with a tremendous amount of hype, but 3 things that he was supposed to do that he didn't do allows us the luxury to bring him down a few pegs on the rung of that ladder that they've placed him on top of. 1, he never sought a rematch against Orlando Salido. He never sought a rematch against that man. And when you're a fighter at the level that he was introduced us to, and you're supposed to be all that in a bag of chips, you have to fight that rematch against that guy because you have to show us that you're better than that style that he represents. And if you notice, you can look up and down Vasily's resume. He has never fought another fighter with that style. That's the Mexican style that Triple G used to try to advertise when he was with Abel Sanchez and everything. That's that Mexican style, the true Mexican style. Orlando Salido brought
You mean
that.
black style.
And that is the anti-European boxing style. Guys who stand straight up or kind of stand, whatever. Now, Vasily, he stands straight up, but he moves his feet left and right and stuff like that. But that Mexican style, they close that ring off on you, they cut the ring, and they bang you.
Chin tucked in and everything.
Yep.
Moving their head, coming.
He has not proven to us he can beat that style. So he never rematched Orlando, and he never fought another fighter like Orlando. So that's a check mark. The second check mark, you can go straight to Gary Russell Jr. It's like, if you really wanted to prove yourself, rematch that guy, huh? Why didn't you give him a rematch that was so deserving, huh? But you think that we should allow you to have the luxury of just jumping in and fighting for that belt that you lost to Teofimo by fighting Kambosos when you readily were made to get back in the line and to reprove yourself. And just because you beat Nakatani, that don't mean you ready to fight for those belts again, because there's still some unfinished business with the third check mark of the man whom you avoided, who now has the WBC title, and the same man that you snatched his opportunity when he was going to fight in an eliminator. You went ahead and fought the guy that he was supposed to fight to try to take a fight off the table for him. And then you asked for franchise status. You asked for that. And they gave Devin the belt, and you never faced Devin. Why are you so anxious to jump your ass in there against Kambosos, who's still an unproven commodity just because he beat Teofimo Lopez? We didn't even know who George Kambosos was before that fight. Why ain't you asking to get in there and try to win a belt, a championship from Devin Haney, the man that you had avoided? Huh? You ain't trying to do that because you ain't legitimate. Huh? And that will give you all the legitimacy that you require if you get in there with Devin. So I see beyond the charade that's being played by these people who back him, promote him, and try to put him out there as if he's worth looking at. He's not. He's on his way out.
Yeah.
A couple years from now, he's done.
Okay? I told folks already that the reason why he's doing this thing with Devin Haney and Lomachenko is because, I mean, you got to think about it, though. It's like the two teams going back and forth. So you can choose to believe who you want to believe. You can choose to believe Team Haney. You can choose to believe Team Kambosos. But there's one fact that I got from this whole thing, that the reason why I don't care what anybody says, because this dude is literally over here saying to himself, if I lose against Haney, it'd be worse if I lost against Lomachenko, which I don't know why, because Lomachenko got L's. And then he's sitting up over here saying to himself, maybe I might have more chance of beating Lomachenko than I have Devin Haney. But no matter what, fight these two dudes, Lomachenko and Devin Haney, I have a good chance of fucking losing against. And if I fucking lose, if I fucking go into this fight with either one of these dudes and lose, what's going to happen to me now? Now I got to fight on somebody's undercard. And if I lose again, I'm going to keep going down to where I basically would vanish. That's what he's doing. He's basically, at the end of the day, you can say he's cashing in.
Yeah. But I just put down the blueprint for the ultimate cash in. Step your ass on in there with Devin Haney. I think that Devin Haney and his camp will take a Lomachenko fight over the George Kambosos fight.
That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah. You know why? Because they could kill two birds with one stone. They could prove the legitimacy of who they are and have been the entire time. You get rid of Vasily, and now you make Kambosos and his little trinkets that he's holding have no value. No value. Go on in there, make that deal with Vasily Lomachenko. Now, will Vasily Lomachenko take the fight?
Oh, he ain't got no choice.
Yeah, but it's a great choice because it's for a title. George want to play these games. Go sit your ass down over there next to Teofimo, because y'all brothers in arms in this foolishness. Let Devin Haney go on after Vasily and whoop his ass and get rid of him, because that's what's going to happen. Get rid of him. And let me say this. Votes UK also asked about, Dillian White being talked about, Dillian White signing that deal with Sky Sports. Sky Sports is trying to get their hat in the arena of boxing programming. And listen, with Clarissa over there now and a couple of other fights, you got the Kell Brook and Amir Khan fight over there. If Dillian White can box in some matches, he got to fight somebody. You know what I mean? He Sky Sports will show these guys, but he's got to get in the ring with people. He's turned down so many fights. He's almost as bad as Ryan Garcia doing what he's doing, turning down fights. Because it's like Dillian White could be so further ahead of where he is presently had he just taken fights. He had Brazil. He had Ortiz. Who else did he have? There was another fighter I'm not thinking.
He had AJ too.
AJ, and then also now our man Otto Valen, So it's like these are all fights he avoided. That's 4 fights.
Then I think he had Pulev too, didn't he? Didn't he get told to go to Bulgaria?
I'm not sure about that one, but
I believe so.
At least 4 of these fights we're talking about, he could have fought these men.
Pretty much.
And he didn't. So it's like, really? What are we even thinking about this guy for? It's like, it's ridiculous. But I'm going to say this, it's like it speaks to the notion of the fighters of today more than it does an individual, because across the board, a lot of them, they're just not delivering, bro. They're just not delivering.
Um, I just see it as sketchy. That's all. Because he's taking all day to fix one little fucking fight. Something should have already busted a move, but he just don't want to pull that trigger. I don't know why, but at the end of the day, it literally seems like money. Somebody told him something. Somebody promising him something. I
You
don't know
talking
why.
about Dillian?
I'm talking about. Oh, I'm talking about Cambosis, but with Dillian, I
Oh.
think it was 5 fights for Dillian.
Well, see, this is the thing that hangs over Cambosis' head, right? This is the thing. Nobody really wants to go to Australia at the end of the day because they don't, man, they don't want to go over there. It's like, for what? You know what I mean? And then who the hell is George Cambosis? So you beat Teofimo. We never thought Teofimo was all of that anyway. Huh? Give him a damn rematch. I don't care. But when you start talking about Devin Haney, dude, all paths in that weight division go through that man's block. You understand? It's like you can't get around that. And I hate when they continue to talk it up and everything. Because really, if you look at it, the Cambosis negotiating ploy is actually to try to, you know, treat Haney like, well, who are you? He's the man. That's who he is. You're the guy that got trinkets that you won off of a guy that was fake anyway. Okay. And then at the end of the day, Vasily was dumb to not even have a rematch clause against the guy. So again, shame on him for being dumb in those negotiations. So he don't deserve a title shot right back right away. All paths run through Devin Haney.
The only thing I would say with the Devin Haney thing is that, you know, they should never made franchise, and this is the reason why, and it just fucked everything up. You know, if Cambosis, by their definition, can't be franchised because he's no front runner in nothing. Ticket sales, pay-per-view sales, he's not premier, no nothing like that. Motherfuckers don't even know if he's gonna win his next fight. You know what I'm saying?
When he started talking like this, saying, "Is what? Oh, it's got to make sense." When he started saying that, I knew what was coming next. I knew, because you know what? Let me tell you something, man. This is it right here. How much sense does it make for him to be thinking about who he should fight next when he can make the biggest bag fighting Devin?
It depends though, because I'm gonna tell you why it depends. It depends, because who knows? Maybe Matchroom don't want to throw that bread. Maybe
Listen,
Matchroom is holding out, don't want to throw that bread.
it's not that. Listen, it's not that. I'm trying to find a way to say it smoothly. It's not
Man,
that
say how you
Matchroom.
gonna say it?
No. I'm saying it's not that they don't want to throw the bread. Matchroom has put on far less fights, bro.
Oh
They
yes,
really
he
have.
has.
They've
They
thrown a
squandered some
lot of
good
money
shit.
away. They've
They,
thrown a
they
lot of money away. The thing about it is, Devin represents something in the sport that a lot of people don't really recognize. He's representing independence. Though, yes, he'll fight over there on the zone and everything, but how his deals are negotiated and everything, he's gaining the lion's share. He's gaining the respect like Floyd had, not to Floyd's level, but he does have that type of independence. So they still want to make a certain amount dealing with him. But if he gets all of those belts, he's going to write the ticket at the division. They still want to play games. There's a reason there's only 6 undisputed champions in the sport of boxing. And how many weight divisions do we have? Think about it. You see? So at the end of the day, that type of independence that Devin and his dad are working with, they don't want a lot of fighters with that type of mindset. They don't. They're
It's like
too
it's like a prostitute out there without a pimp.
right. And sucking up all the Johns No pun intended, but
messing
pun
up
intended.
the price of the punani.
Yeah, you know.
But Watcher just said I was told Cambosos will take 3 tune-ups in Australia.
And he probably will against guys who we don't even know.
He probably gonna lose too. That'd be
That'll
my
be the
god, that'd be
funniest
horrible.
thing right there, to have a guy go in there that has a marginal type record, because he can't go in there against somebody that's got 13 or 15 losses, but he's gonna have to fight against somebody. And right now, that's probably what's taking so long. The fact that they're really scouring, looking for a dude. They're going across the Alps and everything, looking for somebody that they can put in there with him that that he can beat. And it's tough because around that weight class, even guys we never heard of can come in there and whoop some ass. They just ain't been profiled. They just ain't been shown.
That's
like we didn't know who the hell Aldo Wallen was till he got in there with Tyson Fury.
And did way better than that other dude.
Brazil, we were like, hold on a minute. This guy can fight.
He did way better than that other dude he fought before that. Yep. Man.
Jesus. John Schwartz dude. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, God damn, where that boy come from? And that's what I try to tell all people is like, it makes no sense to be a heavyweight and not have no fucking, you got to move. You got to move them damn legs.
As much crap as Tyson Fury talks, he ain't never mentioned Wallen's name again, has he?
Nope. No, I wouldn't either. Fuck that. For what?
But he's a crap talker. He goes back and mentions people. He talk about Klitschko and this and that. He ain't said nothing about Mr. Wallen.
You can't. Nobody could say nothing because everybody saw that when he busted his shit open, when he was doing all that clowning around the ring and shit like that. When Aldo Wallen bust that dude's shit open, everybody knew that even Tyson Fury himself was scared of that fight getting stopped. Tyson Fury himself was even scared about getting knocked down. That if he had a little bit more tenacity in him, the fight would have been over. The fight would have been over. You had like 4 rounds with that eye looking like that. All he had to do was just keep throwing that jab. Just jab, just keep throwing that jab, look for openings, hit that soft ass marshmallow ass body of his. Just keep working. You didn't have to throw no haymakers. And that's why I hate, like, when I'm watching boxing sometimes it's just work. Yo level of work and your output of work, if you were a good fighter, should do something to that fighter, break him down. Right. I don't care who the fuck you is. Right. When you see them solid body shots hitting motherfuckers, you can't tell me after 5, 6, 10 of them motherfuckers over a course of 6 rounds, 8 rounds that you don't feel nothing.
Yeah, man. That's amazing though. Like I said, Tyson Fury, that's like kryptonite to him. You mentioned Aldo Wallen, he gonna shut up and go somewhere.
I wouldn't say shit. Somewhere. I wouldn't say nothing about that. I'll be like, they say I don't want it. I'll be like, who? Next question. Next question. What you got? Another dude say, remember the time he was like, somebody asked him a question. He's like, get him out of here. Get him out of here. Exactly. Get him out of here.
Yep. Boxing.
Get him out of here. Yeah. Who the fuck is out of one? Get him out of here. Hell no, I wouldn't say nothing. Get this. You gonna no, you dirty right there. You dirty motherfucker. You got me with that one. Because people might hit on, like I told folks, you don't have to see. That's the thing. Don't go around here and act like you a knockout artist and stuff like that. There's more than one ways to skin a cat and stuff like that. My main thing is, if you know you can't punch, there is a way for you to win that fight. If you can't knock the guy out, there is a way for you to win that fight. And we saw that with Tony Harris.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Tony Harrison is not no pillow-fested dude, but he just couldn't. That's one dude he can't knock out.
Right. Yep.
He couldn't.
1,000%. You're right,
but
bro.
If you look at his knockout ratio, he been getting motherfuckers up out of there. Yeah, knocking somebody out is the ultimate way to win a boxing match. Like, nobody can fucking go back and contest it and say, well, this, then, the third. You can say, well, he was up on the scorecards, but that don't mean shit. You got knocked out. Yeah, I hate when people say that. It's like you can say that if you want to, if that makes your pride feel better, if that make you betting on that dude and losing your rent money, if that make you feel better about it. But knocking somebody out, ultimate way of winning the fight. And then not only that, it's like the spectacular, it's like the ooh wow factor.
Right.
It's like the enhancer. It's like when you see knockouts and you seeing fighters doing all the time, that's because that's what we want to see. When we watch it, when we turn on the TV, we don't want to see one-sided boxing matches. We want to see they both giving extreme good effort and they both fighting and stuff like that, and then somebody gets knocked out. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, how else are you want to be entertained? You ain't watching boxing to just see some. I don't know how these guys be some Mexican class performance and this and the third. I'm like, damn, what did he do? Like, he didn't even hurt the guy. Like, I want to see competition. Like, there's been fights I bought on Fight TV for $35, $40. There's some fights that was aired on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook for $25 and stuff like that. Sometimes I buy those. Sometimes I'm like, that was kind of sucked. But then sometimes they might have a few fights in there. You're like, damn, they chunking them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they not bullshitting. They going balls to the walls and adamantly trying to get the win because they fucking need it. These fighters are getting in the ring now, like Daniel Jacobs fighting John Ryder, like he don't need this fucking win. Like he don't fucking need it. Like he don't want it. I'm not saying he didn't want it or he didn't need it, but what I'm saying is he didn't do enough in the ring to win because he went to somebody else's country and he left the fight into the judge's hands. He wasn't supposed to do that. He wasn't supposed to go to this dude's country and leave it in their hands and let them make the decision for him.
Yep.
I mean, sucks to be man. Man, I know Daniel Jacobs. He took it like a chat, but he walked out that ring quick.
Man, I was saying that on my post-fight show. I was like, damn, Danny already up the corridor. He didn't.
And his team wasn't even behind him. He had security. It was security, Stormy. You didn't see that shit? He went up there. He looked disappointed, dabbed him up, and got the fuck out of there. Like something was, like I said, I think something was wrong with him. But at the end of the day, even if something wrong with you in the ring, man, it's like you got to be a wounded tiger or something. Like, you rather get your ass beat or win. You got two options. When I see a big ass 220-pound running back running my way, the first thing I say to myself, I'm not getting my ass beat. I don't give a fuck what happens. This motherfucker ain't running me over. I'm winning this motherfucking tackle. And I'm 190 pounds. Sometimes the motherfucker's bigger than that. I'm not about to fucking lose. Because at the end of the day, if you let that motherfucker run you over once, he gonna look at you and think that you that dude.
Yep.
His coach is gonna look at you. That's the sucker right there. That's him right there. He's not willing. He don't want to hit. He don't want to do nothing. Only thing he want to do is put a jersey on and a helmet and shoulder pads and look pretty.
I think Brian Bosworth still got Bo Jackson's cleat prints on his chest. Remember that game, Mike?
You see what I'm saying? And then you on a highlight forever. Like when you watching greatest running backs of all times, he on a highlight. Like when Earl Campbell ran over the whole fucking defense, put his chest in that dude's stomach and knocked him over and went back and knocked another dude over, and people just trying to hold him and grab him, and he busting tackles left and right.
Remember
I'm winning.
Had him tear away jerseys, and he was always being torn out of his jersey.
Yeah, he had them make them jerseys out of silk. Made them jerseys out of silk. Just for that. Now these jerseys, man, I tell you what, I think some people be putting oil on the motherfuckers.
Man,
I tried to grab this one dude, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like it took my whole glove off and shit. I'm like, "What the fuck is?" I looked at the ref. I was like, "Hell nah, man." I was like, "No, man, go check his shit." He was like, "Man, they ain't got nothing to do with me." I was like, "What?" I was like, "But how I go and grab a dude, and take my whole goddamn fucking glove off?" I'm like, the ref is like, "I don't know, man. You might want to, you might want to do something about it." I was like, "You the ref." What else we got? Uh, this dude is a clown, man. This George. I mean, I don't blame him, man. Get your money because you ain't. He ain't beating Lomachenko. He ain't beating Haney. He ain't beating him.
You know what's funny though?
He ain't beating him.
He ain't got nowhere to go. I don't think he beats Tio in a rematch. It's like the funny thing is, good Tio don't want no rematch. He gonna move on. But it's like
Didn't he
the
say
thing,
something about moving up?
yeah, yeah. But this is the funny part about George though. Dude, nobody knew who you were. They only know you from beating Tio, but it's like you ain't done nothing else and you ain't trying to do. So it's like he's a man. You know that saying, a man without a country? He's the opposite. He's just a man with a country. He ain't got nothing else.
I don't know. You got to ask. You got to ask Watcher about that because I don't even know if they. I don't even know if boxing is even big over there because remember for years, the only thing they kept talking about was Lucas Brown.
Right. But it's that I'm just saying, but that's all he got. He keeps saying, come to Australia and this and that. But it's like, dude, come to the ring.
We can't even go.
Just get in the
But Stormy, we can't even go over there.
I know everything on lockdown. But see, that's what I'm saying. You can't continue to hide behind these games. It's a charade, bro. That's why Devin Haney should say,
Watcher just said nobody knows who he is here.
Right. Listen.
Damn, that's bad. That sucks.
Listen, Devin Haney and Bill, they should start their campaign going after Lomachenko. Even if they got to offer him a greater purse split just for the fight to happen, do something different.
But do you think being nice to people is not what's it when they holding back your livelihood?
No, it's not about being nice. It's about getting what you want. Remember, Floyd gave up a lot to De La Hoya just to make that fight happen. Marvin Hagler gave up a lot to Sugar Ray for that fight to happen. Sometimes, in order to get what you want at the end of the day, you might have to sacrifice something. You might have to give up a little bit, but at the end of the day, if you get what you want, isn't that more gratifying?
Yes.
Seriously, at the end of the day. And I would love to see Devin beat Loma's ass because, listen, they keep talking about unification and stuff right there. The biggest fight is him and Loma. It is.
Yeah, but Stormy, my whole thing is, this is my thing, right? Kambosos, the belts made him. He didn't make the belts. Like, he don't make what it means to have 3 belts of anything of noteworthy. See what I'm saying? He doesn't. They figure out a way to make the masses believe that Devin Haney is not the real champion, but Devin Haney still has more stake in the game than Kambosos.
Listen, man,
it doesn't make any sense. Like,
at the end of the day, he doesn't. It's like he don't have enough cheddar for anything. He ain't in no damn bargaining place, bro. He really ain't. And I wish they would stop this foolishness with the guy. Because, dude, like Watcher just says, nobody freaking knows you, man.
That's horrible.
And he gonna get in there with somebody, some lesser opponent, and have a match over there and possibly be in a life and death match. Watch. Might even lose.
Yeah, because he can't fight anybody unless they say he could fight them dudes. But he got them, so he got to get approval from maybe all of them to say, yeah, you can fight somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But think about it, And
he
then
better hope they don't bring one of them Spaniards over there because them Spaniards been on something lately. You understand?
right.
Them guys been upsetting people. Mikey Garcia and what's the other dude got upset by the Spaniard? And
Man,
damn, I can't think of his name right now. But they've been on a roll lately.
you know what? That's where Dillian White be training at
Yeah.
in Portugal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Somebody says the Zon officially lost in Australia. Watcher, I don't even know if they went over there. You know, it's still kind of like the same thing. So what? Like, what fights are you gonna put on? Because you gotta understand, if you're gonna go to these different countries, what fights are you gonna put on for the fight fans in that country? We're not trying to see a whole bunch. We're not trying to see a whole bunch of UK fights. Yeah, I like it. That fights come on at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. You know what I'm saying, Stormy? Sometimes it's convenient as fuck. I could still watch a fight and still go out do my thing throughout the day and stuff like that. You know, go see the homies. You know, but especially on Fridays, I like them on Fridays. But you know, at the end of the day, like a lot of them fights, we're not trying to see, and they can't even give you the undercard that you want to see from the perspective of you being from Australia or you being from US, like the fights that we're seeing. No, because at the end of the day, you have to mix it up. There's certain UK fighters that are premier. There's certain US fighters that are premier, and you got to mix it up. You can't keep giving us what they call UK domestic level fighters versus another domestic level fighter, or put a domestic level fighter against a tomato can and then give it to the US public. You can't do that.
Right.
What's up, Laws? What's happening? If dusty ass motherfucker finally made it in.
Oh, Laws D out there?
Yeah, he finally made it in. He said something, but he retracted his statement. Yeah, that's right. He said, "Kid Galahad." Anybody trying to see that shit?
Laws D ducked me yesterday after threatening to show up on my call-in show because I was talking about Danny Jacobs so bad. He was like, "Oh, Stormy, I'm gonna call in on your call-in show." I was like, "No, you ain't. You ain't gonna call." I ain't see Laws in the chat or nothing. He was probably listening though, but he ain't show up.
Oh, he didn't show up?
Threatening to come to the call-in show. I'm like, dude, you don't even get up to call in on the show anyway.
He said he gave you the "fuck you, Eddie." Fuck you, Eddie. Man, ain't nobody trying to see no Kid Galahad, Laws. What about him?
That's the dude. That's who lost to the other Spaniard, Kid Galahad. I was trying to think of his name, and Laws come in here mention him. Remember that Spaniard knocked Kid Galahad out? Yeah.
Edward Hearn was sick.
Man, that's the fight I was talking about when I was talking just a moment ago, and I said it was two Spaniards that won. That was the one, the Galahad fight.
Edward Hearn was sick.
I had some fun with that one.
Edward Hearn was fucking. He was even sick that night until old boy beat Daniel Jacobs. He was sick. He was not feeling well.
That was a great night of boxing too. Isn't that the night that that chick Amy won when she knocked out Terry Harper? Wasn't that?
I started late. I started late though.
Man, that was crazy. Look at Laws talking about I was watching, talking about the call-in show yesterday. I know he was out there watching. He didn't want to write in the chat because he knew I was gonna say something. Hey, where's my threat? Laws D at, you know.
Yeah, that was that night. He was sick. The whole night he was sick because it was like because Kid Galahad was one of them, right?
Yeah.
And then
boy, man.
And then the Daniel Jacobs fight, you know, he didn't know. He did not know. But if that boy would have because man, I don't even know how he even thought this dude was even on. I don't know, man. None of my business. Like, put all your eggs behind this Kid Galahad.
Man, and you know what was so bad about that night? Galahad came out the first couple of rounds looking sweet. He was boxing, you know, throwing them combos and stuff, man. Man, then old boy Martinez started coming over the top with them looping right hands.
Oh yeah, that's what happened because he wasn't throwing those. He was throwing the left.
Right.
And then he threw the right, and then
He
it was
threw
like
the
I was like,
right,
oh
and it
shit.
nailed him. And dude went down near the end of the round, and he got up. He was wobbly as hell. And when they sent him out there, he got knocked out within the first 20 seconds of the next
He was
round.
already gone. He was already gone. That's horrible. That's horrible.
He never recovered.
Yeah, they should at least have the doctor come over there and give him 10 seconds.
Dude, I was really enjoying that fight night. Those were some good cards because it was knockouts all through that night, I believe.
Hold up. I think I did see that
If I'm
fight.
not wrong, that chick, Amy, what's her name? The female boxer. She knocked that girl Terry Harper out that night too. Man, that
I
was a
think
good
I think I
fight.
did catch that one, but I just can't remember. I think I
The
did.
one where she hit old girl and she stumbled sideways and the ref looked at her like,
Oh
no, this is
no,
over.
because she wasn't supposed to be in there. Like at first, like you was, you look at her, it's like I was like, damn, what the fuck is she throwing? I was like, can she even fight? And I was like, I kept looking, and I was like, oh no, this is going to go down.
Yeah, Laws is backing me up on it. He says, yeah, it was Harper that got iced. Yeah, that was that night. I remember that card, man, because when I did my post fight and everything, I was celebrating, man. I was celebrating that night. I was like, man, it was some good boxing tonight. You know, it's funny, man. DAZN has some good action from time to time. It's just that you got to wait and see what's going to happen. But they do put some fights on. And I was happy with it, bro. I celebrated that night. I remember.
I don't even know where they find this Terry Harper chick. They need to go on and
Yeah,
put
she
her.
came in after a long layoff too. And what's her name? The chick from America. She hit Bumgarner.
Alicia.
Yeah, Alicia Bumgarner. I call her Amy, but Alicia Bumgarner. Boy, she hit that girl with the blow of death.
she's like, hey ref, what was that? What was that? Hey, woo! She hit me with a mean one.
Man, she hit.
She didn't know what fucking hit her. She's. Hey, that's how you know. You can at least do something with them. And you said, yeah, Eddie was sick as a dog that night. All his fighters got iced. I mean, that's what happens though. That's what happens. Like you're gonna keep putting these dudes in there that you trying to. You got to find fighters, man, and that's why I said a long time ago about boxing. They keep fucking stagnating the game by only putting on boxers that fuck with them. You know what I'm saying? They keep stagnating the games like that. Like instead of actually seek out the good fights. Nobody really has to sign for you to make money. You just want them to sign with you so you can have the control.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like if you want to find you a good boxer and the good boxer wants to be with you, y'all got to create some type of relationship, not just sign with you and that's it. Like create some type of relationship.
And how does a guy sign and just be sitting around doing nothing like a Triple G? Come on, man. Are you kidding me? This dude hasn't fought, man, since Moses built the ark, bro. He ain't fought. And it's like, ain't nobody questioning nothing?
Nope. And they just threw his name out there. Again. Because like I said, when DAZN came up over here, they said they wanted the Daniel Jacobs.
I would have made him fight Andre. I ain't lying. I would have made him fight Andre. I'd be like,
yeah, but I think that people will be looking at that, he's the ace in the card if I ain't got nothing else going on. Give this dude 8 weeks or whatever the case may be. Tell him, more than 8 weeks ahead of time, like, hey, a fight might be coming up for you if you need some money, because that's like where they're going with Canelo. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right for a lot of other boxers out there that's been putting in work, and especially for the fight fans. Like, if we the ones that's supposed to keep your lights on and stuff like that, why are we not put in perspective when it is to making these fights?
Right.
If there wouldn't be none of these boxing organizations if there wasn't fans, all the way down there to bare knuckle fight back in the days in the UK, all the way back to that, there wouldn't be no events if people wasn't watching and paying to see this shit. I don't see how you can't, like Law just said, don't nobody want to watch Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G3? Nobody.
Nobody. I agree with that 1,000%, bro.
Nobody.
1,000%.
Hang that shit up. Like Law say, pack it in, mate. Pack that shit in somewhere. Put that shit in the trunk. That shit should be uh um in the lost archives with scrapbook boxing somewhere underneath a pile of old boxing magazines. Nobody even want to see that shit. But that's what's gonna happen if that fight gets called. People gonna be making all types of fight videos, all types of things enabling this shit, and then watch the fight, and then I can see talk about the fight. Yeah, that's cool, but don't go fucking titling this shit and then talk about the fight, giving these motherfuckers some training shit. Don't even fucking put that shit in the title, because at the end of the day, these cats ain't doing you right.
Absolutely, man. I agree with you.
Talk about it, but don't advertise this shit. You know, because I'm not gonna knock nobody for talking about it, because we all like boxing, and it's, you know, we're gonna see some shit in there that we want to talk about, and some shit that we didn't like out of the fight and stuff like that. But I'm not advertising that shit.
Exactly.
Nah, shoot, this is just, you know, I'd rather go to Burger King and eat them meatless chicken nuggets than watch that shit. Do a video on that and tell y'all how that tastes. Damn near probably kill myself eating them motherfuckers. Fake ass meat. Hey, Laws, what you think about that Daniel Jacobs fight, man?
Yeah, you know, I told you he was arguing with me over it because I was talking about Danny got whooped, and he was like, "Danny won. He won that OG." I'm like, "Man, Danny got his ass whooped." I was just happy that Danny lost that night, because they stole the fight against Rosado, and I felt like it was a great karma comeuppance for Danny, especially since he walked around with his new, you know, had his cosmic surgery and everything, and new teeth and new hair and all of that stuff. Man, go sit your butt down somewhere, old uppity ass.
New hairline.
Went over there. He went over there and let the UK soccer league dude beat him.
Damn. 180.
And he said, you know, he was mad because he walked out of there so damn fast. They didn't even get a chance to change the camera angle when he was halfway.
No, the only thing you saw was the back of his head with the two dudes with the back of their shirt said security. That's all you saw was that fro and security. He was out. I didn't even see his team with him.
Yeah, he left them. He left everybody. He was just gone.
He turned around, was like, "Damn, where the fuck he go?"
That was crazy.
Aaron Parker, what's happening? Yeah, got to hit that 180. Law said robbery, Michael. Yeah, but you know what? If that Bivol versus Canelo fight happens, man, Kevin Berry gonna have to do something, bro. Kevin Berry gonna have to pull out all the bells and whistles, because it can't be a close fight for Bivol. It just can't. You ain't winning. You ain't getting no decision with no close fight with this dude.
They're gonna drain Bivol. They're gonna do something. Watch. It ain't gonna be no straight up, you know, I'm fighting Bivol. It's gonna be under some auspices that favor Canelo so much that Bivol gonna end up losing. He gonna lose. He don't have the solidness behind him, you know, to have strength to stand up to the Canelo machine. And it's not about whether his skills or whatever, because I think he's physically strong enough to handle Canelo and everything, but he's going to get bucked under. They're going to drain him down to a special weight, or he won't be able to hydrate up past a certain weight before the fight. It's going to be something. You can guarantee that. It's going to be something favoring Canelo. And that's why I don't like the dude, because that's how he fights. You know, sign right here. And you look at it and say, "What? I only get 3 weeks to train?" If
I was Bivol, man. I was Bivol, every time I threw a jab, I'll be aiming for Canelo's throat. Every time. Man. You can move, because I mean, his chest or his throat. Because at the end of the day, you could try to move your fucking head all you want to, but at least if I touch you, I'm gonna push you at bay. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make you move. Instead
And
of
when you act like you're gonna hit him with a right hand, you feint the right hand
but
and
don't
let him
nobody
do
throw
that
enough
little
feints.
move. Let him do that little move he do, and then when he bring his head back, hit him right on the jaw.
And don't nobody throw a lot of feints against Canelo. Don't nobody throw a lot of feints.
Ah,
And
don't
that's if you
feint
like
the
looking
guy.
at him like he doing it to you the whole night and you biting on it. He
Shit.
tearing your hips up. You know what I'm saying?
I can't stand that kid, man. Because I'm gonna tell you something. He's a good fighter, but he's just a little bit above average. He ain't fucking like what they trying to make him out to be. He is not. He is not.
I would at least give him that. It takes a lot out of you to even win all those fights. I give him that one. I
No,
give.
you have to look at all the fights he won before he started fighting guys with names.
Oh well. Then we forget that because if he fight Bivol, with his weight shit, Bivol gonna come in there and look like a light skinned piece of beef jerky.
And look at the guys he's been fighting with the weight shit. He fought Cotto with a weight thing. He fought Amir Khan with a weight thing. He been doing this shit for a long time, bro. That's why he think he a master at it and he can get away with what he wants.
I told folks that Kovalev should never took. Before the fight, I said Kovalev shouldn't take the fight. Mm-hmm. Short notice, and you talking about this weight shit. I'm like, and you got all this case, man. You about to lose. You're about to lose. Yep. Like I tell people all the time, it's like this weight shit ain't nothing to fucking play with. People think that boxers, professionalism, and all this stuff. But sometimes it's just you just can't help it. You could do everything right and stuff like that, and still, you know what, dude? Joe Chaz, you got to go, man. Anybody got time for that nonsense? Wilder smoking crack and shit. Anybody got somebody hit that motherfucker. Your mama's sucking my dick. How about that? That's what she's smoking. My damn dick. Get up out of here. Matter of fact, Wilder's too, but me first. I think that's how you do it. Block you from StreamYard. Yeah, with Dillian White, he does that because he's not in the gym like that. And that's and people keep letting Tyson Fury slide. But that's what Tyson Fury's trainer said. That this dude is not working right. That's why Ben Davison left. The juice wasn't worth the squeeze, and he had other fighters to train. He wasn't working like he was supposed to in the gym. And then he gets up in there, has the training camp. He has to lose. He got to get back in shape. He loses weight. Then he gets in the ring. The same thing with fucking Dillian White. Dillian White used to come in, like I seen him, and sometimes he came in and looking in shape, looking good. And then all of a sudden, he starts putting these tires around his stomach and getting in the ring and wondering why he can't go past the 6th round. You could do all the. This is just my thing. You could do all this exercising in the world. You can say you're doing 12 rounds, 15 rounds, 20 rounds in the gym and stuff like that. But are those guys making you move? Because you ain't got to beat the dude up in sparring. But are you working in sparring? You see what I'm saying? Are you just hitting the dude and he ain't throwing back and just looking good in sparring? Is there a fucking... I don't think there's any type of what you call that thing? There's no type of there's not a thing to be learned while you objective. There we go, objective in his sparring plan. I think it doesn't seem like there's an objective to it, because if there's an objective to it, how come you can't? If you talking about you doing 15, 20 rounds in sparring, where's these guys at in the ring? After 6 rounds, you done. You depleted. That's the reason why Povetkin knocked your ass out. You got tired. You took a break off for a split second, and you went to sleep.
Hey, Mike, I'm gonna get ready to pop off, man. I appreciate you, sharing your platform.
Oh,
with
man,
me
man, I keep trying to tell you and Laws, man. Y'all got to stop saying thank you, man. I should thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I shared this stream to my community page so more people will be aware of it and everything. But yeah, man, great conversation. I'm getting ready to go eat my dinner, and then I'm gonna try to watch The Gloves Are Off with Khan and Brooke before it get too late because I gotta get up for work tomorrow.
They when they do that?
They released it just a few minutes before you went live, and Votes UK mentioned it in the chat.
Oh, I
So
didn't catch it.
yeah, so it's it got released just a few minutes before you went live.
I
So
can't wait to see this.
it's up now. It's about 27 minutes. It
I
says.
know Kel Brook talking shit.
Yeah, I want to check it out. So, but
I'll be
I'm gonna get
surprised if
on
you don't.
off, man. But thank you again, and we'll catch up, man. We'll catch
Yeah,
up.
but
Okay.
hopefully the laws next time call in.
Yeah. We get Laws to call in so I could roast him. You know. But salute to everybody out there, man. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up for Mike, man. It's a great stream here. I catch you guys on the next one.
Thanks for stopping by, Stormy.
All right, no problem. Peace, bro.
Now let's see what we got here in this chat here. Kovalev is just after that money. He had to have the money because he defaulted on that court case with that chick that he fucked her neck up and kicked the dog and hit her roommate. He defaulted on that, so he had to go back to court, and they said that he had to pay more money. He had to. Law says, "What's up, the Watcher?" Law says, "Dillian White don't want to fight nobody. Plain and simple. I think he do want to fight Fury, but at the end of the day, he's in the pickle. They got his ass. They did him dirty, I think, with the 20%. But at the end of the day, he's just gonna have to take the fight, man. You did the right thing as an adult. You took him to court and all that stuff. It didn't work out, or if it worked out, or if it didn't work out, if it's still pending, at least you did the right thing as an adult, as a boxer, to protect yourself. But at the end of the day, you're just gonna have to take the fight, man. It's 20%, take it or leave it, and somebody else gonna take that fight for less or for less money. So, he might as well take that fight, man. I think he will. Jerome said in a catch weight, the man cutting weight is always at a disadvantage, and it's disgusting. And that's the reason why I don't think they should really have shit like that. And if they have it, they should, it should be more than 8 weeks. Give somebody enough time to get comfortable in that weight that they in, because when you start seeing sunken eyes and veins and all that shit and weigh-ins, it don't look right. It don't look right. Cheekbones and all that shit. People extra skinny and just looking unhealthy. It's not a good thing. But let's see what else we got out here besides this the bullshit. I didn't even get to hit on everything I want to hit on, man, because he was having a good conversation around this motherfucker. And I'm gonna go back and listen to this what you call that thing? The American joint. I think it's gonna be I think that's gonna be a good fight. Probably should have happened a minute ago, but it is what it is. I think that it's gonna be battle of the chins. Jerome, you can say he's only worth 20%, but you can't really tell another man what they're worth, man. It's up to them to take what they scrapbook boxing was happening. It's up to them to pick whether they choose what poison they want to take, man. It's his choice, but like I said, at the end of the day, if he don't take it, somebody else will. If he don't take it, then I just think that he should just shut the fuck up about a lot of shit. If you don't want to, if somebody stepped to the WBC or whoever and said you only worth this, and they agreed on it and did their own mathematical equations and stuff and said this is what you're worth, can't really do much about it, man. Can't really do much about it. The WBC has the power, and not Dillian White, not me or you. I mean, we can say whatever we want, man, but it is what it is. I'm not trying to beat you down. What you guys think about that Bearded Bee versus Joe Smith, man? They talking about it's supposed to be in Madison Square Garden in June. That's what Aram is saying. What y'all think about that? Bitterby versus Smith. It's gonna be a good fight. I think Bitterby got it. I think he got it. I think Joe Smith better respect this dude's gangsterism, man, because this Arthur dude, man, he's a tough guy, man. Tough guy. He's been perceived to be like a guy that's hard to get rid of. You just ain't gonna sit up over here and steamroll this one, man. He can take a punch too. You know, he's not a quitter. Who y'all think y'all got? Bitterbeef or Joe Smith? Who y'all think y'all got? I want to see how many people's gonna pick Joe Smith. Anybody got Joe Smith? Nobody? Nobody got Joe Smith? All right, next subject then, I guess, right? Next subject. Let's see what we got here on boxing scene. Real quick. Like Colbert got a fight against Hector Garcia. Supposed to be for a WBA title eliminator. Nah. It is what it is. It's okay. It's an okay fight, in my opinion. Oh, y'all, thanks, Scrapbook. Thank you. Likewise. I don't think that fight is gonna be all that, man. Chris Colbert seems to be all right guy. Let's see how let's just see how he gets away with this one, man. Let's see what happens with this one. Then I start, getting behind him and stuff like that. I don't care whatever you said about other fighters and stuff like that. That's just his opinion or whatever the case, what he felt like saying at the time. But let's see how he performs in this one, man. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Down at so they're saying that the Herkovic and Zhang IBF orders February 24th purse bid hearing for a heavyweight title eliminator for that one. I don't think there's anything Zhang can do. He doesn't have defense. I don't think Herkovic's defense is all that. But the Zhang guy just seems to stick his chin up in the air too many times. Doesn't have any defense, and he gets tired fairly quick as well. So, so I don't think that's a good fight for Zhang, but Zhang is not in shape. Is not in shape. He's not going to be in shape. I don't think he has the genetics to be that big and coming in shape. I don't think he has the genetics. I don't know, diet or whatever the case may be, but just don't think he has it. So what do you guys think about Kevin Berry as a trainer though? For as far as if Bivol was to go into a fight with Triple G. What do you guys think about that? Do you think Kevin Berry has the abilities to give the correct instructions to go in there and win this fight? What do you guys think about that? So I know a lot of people see flaws in Canelo's game. You know what I'm saying? I think Canelo's is a decent counter puncher. His work ethic to the body is nice. Even though sometimes they're he's just smacking people's hips. But what do you guys think about Kevin Berry and Bivol versus Canelo? That's what I really want to know. What do you guys think about that? I don't think much of it. That's what I think. I don't think much of it. maybe I don't think Bivol has all the tools. I think he can get it. The dude's like what? He's like 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot, something like that. He seems fairly tall, but I don't think he. You got to be able to stick that jab out there and not let Canelo take these angles on you. Because that's what he's going to have to do. That's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to pick angles and to get up in that inside or to throw that jab and stuff like that. You can't just let this guy square up on you. What we got there? Fox. They giving that dude, they giving Coop too much credit for that Super Bowl win. They giving that wide receiver way too much fucking credit. Way too much fucking credit. Way too much fucking credit. They should be talking about the St. Louis's defensive line, but you know how that is. The bass guitarist and the drummer always gets outshined by the lead guitarist and the singer. That game, the Super Bowl, it was that defensive line, St. Louis's defensive line. But that's it used to be St. Louis, LA's defensive line. Sorry, Rams defensive line. LA Rams defensive line. They was just when the Rams needed that defensive line, the key players stepped up. So, you get 2 sacks in one drive. You pin your opponents down from kicking a field goal at the last minute to tie the game up. I mean, you can't fucking ask for more out of a defensive line. They didn't give that quarterback no time to fucking think, no time to react. And like I said, you can't expect more out of your defensive line, man. That was damn near unhuman like. Some people saying no and this and the third, but come on, man. We all know that they're giving that Coop guy, whatever his name, all this credit and shit like that. We all know why they doing that. Odell gets hurt. He comes in and ultimately seals the deal for him. But what I've seen from that game, it wasn't even Coop, man. Anybody could have ran that route. He literally jogged that fucking route. And defensive backs and the safeties, man, just bit on the run. They bit on it. Nobody back. And you have a touchdown. It is what it is. Well, anyways, y'all, I'm getting up out of here. I'm going to fucking get on these sticks and play me some Warzone. And on that note, man, everybody out there in the boxing world, keep your hands up, protect yourself at all times, and stay sucker free.